Welcome back to the Scoop College Basketball Podcast. We are back for another conference preview, and today we are previewing the best conference there is. At least it was the best conference last year. That is the Big 12. As I mentioned, ranking number one out of all the conferences in KenPom. They sent 7 out of 10 teams to the tournament. I mean, there's not 7 teams there's not 10 teams this upcoming year, so we'll have to see if we think that changes. But they did that. Every team was in the top 63 in KenPom. K-State and Texas were the teams that made the farthest in the tournament, both making the Elite Eight. So, Kyle, what are your thoughts on the Big 12 first thoughts?
Yeah, so we got a lot of new members, of course. They won't look entirely that bad outside of maybe UCF. So honestly, they're just good additions, and even UCF, like they might not be good this year, but they'll be good in the next couple years, I figure. So, yeah, the new look Big 12. I think everyone's excited for it.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's a new look. Even the players are sort of new looks, even from the returning teams. As I'll go through the all-conference teams from last year, you have Adam Flagler started his pro career. Jalen Wilson also started his pro career, as did Keontae Johnson. Marquise Newell and Marcus Carr also on the first team. They both exhausted their eligibility. From the second team, Keontae George started his pro career. Gabe Kalsher exhausted his eligibility. Grady Dick started his pro career, as did TCU guards Damian Bott and Mike Miles Jr. On the third team, LJ Cryer transferred to Houston, so technically transferred in conference, so he will still be around in the Big 12 as Houston is a member this year. Kevin McCullough, the other member of the all-conference team, is back. He's just staying Kansas. It was kind of a shocking decision. Like, it was kind of assumed that he was gone, and he just, I'm back. So, yes, he is back at Kansas. Caleb Boone transferred to UNLV, and Serge Jabari Rice and Eric Stevenson, they exhausted their eligibility. So 13 of these 15 guys are from last year are not in the conference anymore. 14 of 15 guys are not with the same team. So even at the top, there is a lot of change that will happen. So, but yeah, before we get into our all conference teams, there's some new coaches in the league as well. One of them is Rodney Terry, who is only sort of new because he was the interim head coach for Texas, starting in December once Chris Beard got arrested on domestic violence charges. So Terry, and I know I don't think you're too high on him either, but we'll see how this experiment plays out. We'll talk about more once we get to the Texas section. Grant McCasland, a hire that we both absolutely love. He replaces Mark Adams, who was fired from Texas Tech. McCasland coming from North Texas, where he built a phenomenal team there. And Josh Eiler, he is the interim head coach of West Virginia this season, following the aftermath of everything that happened with Bob Huggins. Not the greatest way to go out for Huggy, but yeah, Eiler is the coach for this year. Looking at the roster, they probably won't be back next year. But yeah, we will talk about that in a bit. But let's get to our award predictions. I'm just going to start with my player of the year. I have Hunter Dickinson for Kansas, the best player on arguably the best team in the country. I personally have Kansas number one, but I have number one in the conference. So
Yeah, I have Hunter as well.
yeah. Another member of my first team is Tyler Perry from K-State. He's going to put up some big time scoring numbers. I think he is also in the like all-American conversation as well.
We've put out, and I have my point guard list out there, and we've made our thoughts very clear in our thoughts of Tyler Perry. So he's my starting point guard for my first team.
Yes, he is one of the best players in the country. Another transfer from a low major I have is Max Abmas, who will be Texas's maybe their only source of offense this year. And I mean, he can really score the ball. He obviously played at Oral Roberts, but he's super skilled scorer. I think he could be able to get shots off on the Big 12. Do you have
If
him
I
on your
was
first
if I
team?
was a little higher on Texas, I would consider him for my player of the year. That's how much scoring he's gonna have to do.
Yeah.
So I have him at my shooting guard. Yeah.
Okay. I also have LJ Cryer from Houston. He will likely be their best player. They kind of have some good guys overall, but yeah, I mean he's already been all conference guy. He might have an opportunity to take more of his scoring, as Baylor had quite the backcourt last year. So I mean Houston has a pretty stacked backcourt
Yeah.
as well. But
Um,
I think he's like
oh,
a pure scorer out of them.
yeah, I wanted to go positional, but I'm gonna stick with LJ as well. So yeah, I don't love LJ defensively, but under Kelvin Sampson, I think
Yeah.
it could improve. So
Yeah, Baylor was just a bad defensive team last year, but like I trust it a little more because one, like he's gonna be if he's still bad at defense, he's gonna be able to hide him a little bit more. And
yeah,
as well,
they got a lot of good
Baylor just was bad at defense last year, so
defenders.
it was just not a good situation overall. But one more member of my first team is Emmanuel Miller for TCU. I think he will be their best player. I originally did not have him in my first team, but moved him up here. He's going to be their best player. Super old. Has started high major for 4 years. He's maybe take the next jump without Miles and Ba.
Yeah, so on my power forward, I have Dylan Disu. I think
Okay.
he's in for a pretty big year. Again, they just don't have a lot of scoring, so he really started to heat up at the end of last year. And as far as interior scoring goes, they're not really going to get a lot from Shedrick there. So he's going to get a ton of looks. He's really good from the mid range. He's really good on the low block. I definitely could see him averaging 16 and 8. Like I could definitely see that for him. So
I did not have Disu on my all conference teams for a few reasons. The one reason is that I think his late season play got a little overhyped because he only averaged like 9 and 4 in a season. Like that's good, but like I feel like that's
his
it's
role is heightened this year, though. I mean, like
yeah, I
outside of Max
mean,
Asmus, like who's a legitimate scorer in that starting lineup? Like it's
well,
him.
that brings me to the other reason why I didn't have him there is because he's hurt right now. Like
Oh,
he's still kind of recovering and like big men with injuries are a little iffy.
yeah. Okay. Is it a foot injury or something?
I don't know what it was. I think it was whatever he was hurt with, like because he missed it the last few games of the tournament. Um,
I never even heard about this injury. Gosh.
yeah, I mean it was a big deal when it happened because he like missed the Sweet 16 Elite Eight games.
That's
Um,
right. Okay.
after he was playing really good, but
After he dropped
yeah,
30 on us, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, he had a very good game there. Yeah, I almost consider having him too. It's not like he was so far off, but there's just so much uncertainty surrounding
Yeah, if he's not
him for
healthy,
me.
like I have Emmanuel Miller on my third team, I can move him up.
Okay,
But I have another
okay,
center who I really like that you might
okay, yeah.
have a hint about.
I may or may not have him. We will get to that. But second team, I have Ray J. Dennis for Baylor. Um, his defense is a question mark, but I mean, Baylor had 3 all conference players last year and they were bad defenders overall. Dennis says can really pass the ball. Is not a great shooter, but he can still really put up numbers. I think Toledo to Baylor is a good fit. The offensive game really translates over from 2 offensive powerhouses there. So yeah, I think he's gonna have a pretty decently sized role. And Scott Drew has been great with like low major, mid major guards over the past few years.
Yeah, so I have Tyron Lipsey as my second team point
Taman
guard.
Lipsy, yeah.
Taman Lipsey.
I did not have him in my all conference. I did originally. I am a huge Taman Lipsy fan, but like I don't know like if he's gonna put up the numbers that the voting panel is gonna want. Like the
You
scoring numbers,
know,
especially. Like he's not like a huge scorer. Like he might average like 8 points per game and be amazing, but not be on an all conference team.
I was very strictly positional with these, right?
Okay. I mean
Probably should have with
I was
him.
honestly pretty positional as well.
Um, I like Keyshawn and Curtis Jones more, to be honest.
I don't. I think
Hurts.
Lipsy's like the best player, but he's not gonna lead him in
It
scoring, I
hurts for
don't
me
think.
not to really have Gilbert or Jones on here, but like shooting guard's a really good position. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably try and squeeze Gilbert on my second team because I think Keyshawn
Ew.
Gilbert's in for
Gilbert
a
wasn't even
great
that good.
season.
Gilbert wasn't like that good in the Mountain West.
I
He's
disagree.
not an all
Like
conference. He was good, but like he wasn't all
if you
conference in the
remember
Mountain
his
West.
first half of the season, he
Yo,
was
he was really good then.
unbelievable. He
But
was the
like
reason they were 10-0. Like,
they were
and then he
also
fell
not
off a
playing the
little bit.
best competition. I
Like
mean,
I feel like he could be really good under Otton. He is going to be him and Curtis Jones are going to be their best scorers. I mean, I could see one of those two guys breaking.
Yeah.
Maybe you lean Curtis Jones, but one of them is definitely going to be averaging a lot, I think, because I don't think Pavlovsky's 100% ready personally.
Yeah,
So
I kind of see your train of thought there.
yeah,
Although Isaiah Brockington was somehow one of the best players in the country. So I mean, maybe when he was at Iowa State. So it could happen. I don't agree with it, but it's what
well, I
preseasons are
think one of
for.
Jones and Gilbert is definitely going to average a lot because they need that scorer. Like
They're
Lipsy's not a big
yeah.
scorer. you
hmm
know.
Um,
We'll
but
see.
yeah, someone that will be scoring is Pop Isaacs, who I have on my second team. He's the main source of offense for Texas Tech. Amazing defense, and if he can really break out offensively, that's kind of their ceiling. Which I mean, he was great offensively last year, but if he really is a number one scorer, like averages like 17 points a game, which I could honestly see. So that's why I have him on my second team. Did you have him on your all conference teams?
I have him on my third team. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. So, and then on my second team, I got Dennis, and then I have Arthur Kaluma as my small forward.
Okay.
I think he's in for, I think he's in a system that probably fits him a little more. Kansas State loves to play fast. Creighton, they scored the ball, but they're a really good half court offensive team. Like I think K State's going to want to run, and I think he's just someone that he's good in transition. I feel like he's some upside there. And I feel like he can be more efficient with under tank system. I think the fit's a little bit better here. And obviously there's a lot of roster turnover. So besides Tyler Perry, like he could definitely just step into that Keontae Johnson role. And I think it's right there for him. And I'm very high on K State this year. So um,
Yeah, I did not have him in my all conference teams. It was close, but he just wasn't consistently good enough at Creighton. I do think K-State fits him a lot better, but I went with a different K-State forward on my third team, which we'll get to in a minute. But I have Jacoby Walter from Baylor on my second team. I think he can be kind of what Keontae George was, like can really score the ball. Pretty good athleticism, decent size for a guard. So I think he will be the best freshman in the conference and can really fit in well in Baylor's system.
hmm And then I have KJ Adams as my power forward.
Okay.
I see a lot of two-way production for him this year. Definitely going to be the guy doing all the dirty work, and that doesn't go unnoticed in the Big 12. Like the Big 12 is the physical blue collar conference of college basketball. And he's going to be doing a ton defensively to make up for Dickinson's limitations on that end. And I think he'll be scoring a bit as well. Like I think he's going to evolve a little bit as a scorer this year. Maybe not average more than like 8 to 10 a game, but like I think it's enough with everything else that he does to get a mention at power forward. So
Yeah. I went a different direction and took Kevin McCullough there. He's another guy that's really old, pretty versatile, can kind of play like the 3-4. Really good fit with some of the players that Kansas has. So I put him there. And in my center, I'll just go. I have Jesse Edwards from.
I have Warren Washington. I'm very
Okay.
big on Warren Washington, as you know. Yeah, I think he's a great rim protector. I think under Grant McCaslin, it's just going to make him an even better defender. And I feel like he's going to be a part of the offense as well. Really efficient scorer, really good around the rim. And yeah, no, I hopefully they use him on offense. And yeah, because Usman, Grant used Usman a good bit in the offense as well. So I think they're going to get their bigs involved, and I really like Warren this year. And maybe the reason I didn't include Edwards on my all conference teams is because I'm not very big on West Virginia. Like I don't think they're going to be very good this year. So
No. Um,
that's definitely a part of it. And there's a lot of good bigs in this conference. Like I love Jesse, but this is a conference with a lot of good bigs this year. So
yeah, on my third team, I have Jamal Shed, Houston's point guard, is gonna be the same player he's been. I mean, he's gonna be good, effective, winning player. Did you have him on your all conference
Yep,
teams?
he's on my third team. Yep, I
Okay.
have him next to Pop Isaacs. So I think Jamal Shedd's gonna be great perimeter defender. You know what you're gonna get there. Really good. He's good in the mid range. He's not an amazing 3-point shooter, but maybe he can extend his range a little bit this year. I don't know, but when he's on, man, he is a tremendous player. He's not on all the time, but like, Houston has so many scorers this year to where he doesn't have as much pressure as he did on offense last year. Like last year, there was a lot of pressure for him to do things on offense. This year, you got guys like LJ Cryer, Damian Dunn, you got Jamal Shedd, of course, you got Arsenault, and you got Sharp, who both of who I love, and you got Jawan Roberts as well. So loaded
Yes.
team.
Yeah. For my other guard on the third team, I have DeJuan Harris for Kansas. Obviously, really elite passer and started to kind of score the ball a little bit last year. The year before, it was kind of a non-factor offensively, but he's been growing his game offensively. Shot really well from three, not a ton of volume, but like was a really effective shooter when he did shoot a ball.
I'll
Um,
say this. I mean, it's easy to hit the shots when literally the defense is daring you to shoot. Like
yeah,
there's
I
literally
mean,
no one within a mile of him when he shoots.
yeah,
At
he definitely made significant improvements there offensively to
least
overall.
he's making them. You know,
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna leave him open, at least it's a nice
gotta
sign to
knock it
see.
down. You know,
But yeah, I feel like he could almost get another step up offensively. I mean, that's not out of the
yeah.
question considering his progression over the last few years. Um,
I just think
yeah,
there's so many good guards in this conference. Like, that put up
there's
a lot of
yeah,
points. So I
yeah.
have Kevin McCullough, small forward. I'm not the biggest Kevin McCullough fan. I'll actually be honest with you here. Definitely needs to kind of improve offensively a little bit more, but he's going to have a bigger role this year for sure. You know what you're going to get on the defensive end with him. I kind of wish that he was a little quicker off the dribble. It's definitely a little bit better of a shot creator, but um, you know, he's the player he is now. I think everyone knows what kind of player he is, and he's just got to knock
Mhm.
down his shots at a more efficient clip, which I think he'll be able to do this year. So have him on my
Yeah.
third team.
Yeah, I have Jalen Bridges in that spot. He is someone with a ton of potential. The game I went to last year versus Iowa State, he shot the ball like something crazy from three. Let me pull up the exact. I mean, he did like not miss from three that day. Um he was 7 of 8. So I mean, obviously that's not really a thing that he does too often. But I think he just has a lot of potential. Was a really efficient scorer last year. I mean, that was just like one good shooting game in the season, but like if he can consistently shoot the ball more, and that's a encouraging sign. He's pretty athletic. For as bad as Baylor is defensively, I think he has a lot of defensive potential. Just
Definitely.
very versatile wing forward that probably more of a four in Baylor's system that could really blossom into more of a star this year.
Yeah, at my four, I got Naquan Tomlin on my third
Yeah,
team.
I have him right there as well, as I
Very
previously alluded
big
to.
on him. He's got a lot of different skills.
Hmm.
He's quick. He's good in the post. He's good on defense. He has some perimeter skills as well that he's developing. And his athleticism is off the charts. Like I definitely think he's going to get NBA looks this year.
Yeah,
He's
I
really
mean he was getting
developing.
them last year.
Right, he's really developing an NBA skill set, and I'm really excited for him next to Perry. I really would love to see Perry next to an NBA level big like this. It's going to be really special.
Yes.
And then at my five, I have Emmanuel Miller. So, yeah, I definitely probably base this a little in some spots, a little too much on team success. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Emmanuel Miller's easily caliber player for this list, but I'm looking at some other guys, and I probably should have included like Jalen Bridges, and probably I
I
love
mean, there's just so many good players in the
Walter is
conference.
so good too. Like, no, he's gonna be awesome. Baylor's freshman class is something to die for. Like they're so good. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, no, I definitely was back and forth with a lot
Yeah.
of these. So
But for my five, I went a little off the chart here. I took Victor Larkin from Cincinnati. I really like Larkin. He's he is great on both ends.
No,
Like
he's not.
he, yes,
On
how is he not?
defense. On defense,
Yes,
he's terrible,
no,
dude.
he's no. I don't
I
know what
mean,
you're.
look, man, like Cincinnati was giving up 80 a game. Like, how much does that like fall on rim protection, man? Some of it definitely
I
does.
mean, Locken was a good rim protector. He blocked
When you're
six.
giving up 80 a game, some of the responsibility has to fall on your five. Like, I
Yeah,
get they didn't
he
have
was
perimeter
he was an
defense,
elite rim protector though.
not elite, bro.
Okay, maybe
They
not.
were
He
getting
was really
torched on
good.
defense every game I watch.
He's a really good rim protector though.
I mean, against Utah Valley, they got annihilated at the rim. They got whatever they wanted. That's
I
why
mean,
I don't know.
Locken averaged
Larkin's cool in offense.
he
Like I
averages
don't mind him.
1.4 blocks and 1.2 steals. Like he is definitely a productive
I
player
don't
on the
really like
defensive end.
rim protection is not something I just look at blocks and say like you're a
Yeah,
good
I know.
protector. Like,
There's levels to that, but I mean, like if you look at the analytical numbers, his defensive rating was like 3 whole points better than anyone else on Cincinnati.
yeah,
His offensive
that's the
rating was
thing,
also
right? Like
his offensive rating was also 3 points better. Like I think he's a guy that if he just gets more shots and like
I agree.
maybe he could be like really good.
He's a good
I'm
offensive
super high on
player.
him.
No, I think he's a good offensive player. The issue with Cincinnati last year is like, and I probably shouldn't blame this as much as Victor as I do, but like their perimeter defenders were so bad. Like Locken was like the only guy playing defense.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
DeJulius just doesn't really play defense.
yeah, I mean they were undersized and all those kind of things, and it put all the pressure on
Yeah,
the rim protector to do everything, and that's a tough position for any center to be in. And I still think they're
yeah.
kind of going to be suffering from that same issue, but we'll get into that later. So,
Yeah, we will talk about them shortly, but yeah, going to our top 10 transfers, the first few we can just knock out. We've already talked about them. We both have Hunter Dickinson at 1. I have Tyler Perry at 2, A. Smith at 3. I have Jesse Edwards at 4. I think he's not that much worse than Hunter Dickinson, honestly. He's definitely way better defensively, is
I
not
get
that bad.
that.
He's not the same like offensive go-to guy, but he's sort of efficient, really good rebounder. Did you have him on your list?
Yeah, I got him at 5 behind Ray J.
Okay.
Dennis. I
Okay.
just think offensively, like Jesse Edwards is definitely bipolar. Like he is his games where he just
Yeah. Yeah.
completely forgets what he's doing on offense, cannot like put the ball in the basket from like 5 feet away. But then he's these games where he's dropping double doubles and looks amazing. So he's
Mm,
amazing on defense every game. We know that.
yeah.
So I mean that's great to have, and he's a big talent. But I have Ray J. Dennis at 4 and then him at 5.
Yeah. So I have Cryer at 5, Dennis at 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Crier. Honestly, I'm gonna have him behind Keyshawn Gilbert. Like, I love Keyshawn Gilbert and the prospect he is. 6'4" sophomore, really good on both ends. And I just think the scoring jump is gonna be pretty big this year. Like, he averaged 11 a game last year. Through the first 10 or so games, it was like 15 to
Yeah.
17.
He was shooting the ball really well.
And
Just completely
he
fell
still
off.
finished shooting 46% from the field, even when he was cold, like in the second.
Yeah.
So, like it's respectable efficiency, 38% from three. I definitely feel like him and Curtis Jones are in for great seasons. So I have him at 6, and then I'll have Kaluma at 7.
All right. I had Klum at 8, and at 7, I have Aziz Bandago. Don't know what his situation looks like with his waiver, but I do not. He's an elite athlete for a big, another elite rim protector, which obviously Cincinnati could use more of that. Yeah, we're just
It's a
really
shame,
good.
like all Cincinnati centers have these waiver issues, like him, Jameel Reynolds, like
Yeah,
it's gonna suck as we're not really gonna know what kind of version of Cincinnati we're gonna get until like 2 to 4 weeks
yeah,
before the season, it looks like. So
yeah,
but Locken at least will be sturdy, so that's good. Um
yeah.
and then I'll have LJ Cryer behind him at 8.
Okay,
I'm not the
I
biggest Cryer fan. Like, I don't think he's very good on defense. We'll see. Again, he'll probably improve a little bit, but he's still very undersized. And then, like, shot creation wise, he's kind of limited. He's a really good catch and shoot guy, though. That's his game.
yeah, I think
And
he's gonna
he'll
have a
he'll
lot of
be good
opportunities for that this year.
for sure, for sure. They definitely have a lot of perimeter talent this year, so that's good. Um,
Yeah, but at number 9, I had Nick Timberlake. Definitely going to get some more minutes with the Arturo Morris stuff, which I would probably rather have Timberlake anyways. He has some athleticism to him, and he has some of
yeah,
that.
he
He has
does.
some game to him, considering he's coming from Towson. Like he's not just a shooter, although he is an elite shooter.
Yeah,
So yeah.
he's a deceptive athlete. Like, he's definitely a
Yeah.
slasher as well. Obviously in the Big 12, we'll see how successful that is, but it's good to know he can put the ball on the floor too. I have
Yeah.
him at 8. And then at 9 I got Warren Washington, and then at 10 I have Curtis Jones.
Okay. At 10, I have Jameer Nelson Jr. I
I have
almost
him
put
at
Raekwon
11.
Battle there, but I don't know. I didn't really this
Yeah, I
waiver
probably
is
should
not
have
looking
Raekwon
super
on
likely.
here.
So
Yeah.
I just went with Nelson said there. I mean, he's going to be the main source of scoring in TCU's backcourt. Um, put up big numbers, was a pretty strong defensive player too at Delaware. Will that translate? We will find out. But yeah, he has NBA genes.
Big talent. I was surprised by the move. But I'm a big Jameer Nelson Jr. fan. I think he got a little. I seen ratings with him in the transfer portal. People had him like top 5 of everybody in the
Yeah,
transfer portal, which is wild to me. He's a good player.
he's good.
Defensively, he's pretty good. Can improve a little bit, but he will under Dixon. Dixon's a great defensive coach, so
Yes.
excited to see what he does. I got Curtis Jones ahead of him because I think Curtis Jones is more size. He's like 6'5" to 6'6". Buffalo just has so much talent, man. You watch Buffalo last year, and you just see all this wasted talent last year, and it kind of like, wow, you could really imagine them under a good coach. And Buffalo, of course, fired their coach because they've been really disappointing. And all these talented guys from Buffalo, Isaac Jack goes to Dayton, Curtis Jones goes to Iowa State, and Curtis Jones was their leading scorer last year. And what really makes him special is his shot creation ability is special. Like the shots he can make when he's on, like you just can't guard them. Like
Hmm.
he's against Michigan State, he was making tough shots and he's keeping them in the game. And I think under a good coach like Otts, like he'll learn, to take the shots within the offense. Like he won't need to be trying that hard to create space in this offense, hopefully. He's got all the talent in the world, and I think he's really gonna blossom this year for sure.
Okay. Moving to our breakout players now. My first one I had is Langston Love from Baylor, going to get that starting job. Baylor's guards are always pretty elite. He'll just probably be one nose, but it's good last year in the minutes that he did play.
Yeah, I got Daniel Skillings Jr.
Okay.
This is a little risky here. Like I'm biased towards him, admittedly. Like he's from Roman Catholic, so he's from the Philadelphia area. But like at the same time, like Cincinnati's guards are gonna need some help. Like obviously you got Jizzy James, who's pretty good. But it's a young backcourt, and I know Miller still trusts Skillings. Like he gave him, and Skilling showed flashes last year. Like in the NIT game, he was good. He had some
Mhm.
games last year where he was pretty good. He's
Yeah.
going to get ample opportunities to get a starting job. Maybe he doesn't start, but he's going to get really good minutes.
Yeah.
He could definitely break the starting lineup if he plays well off the bench. Things like that. He's going to get opportunities. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of will he make the most of them. So.
Yeah, another guy I have is Terrence Arsenault from Houston. I think he's in for a big increase in role. I think he's very talented and will just Kelvin Sampson's obviously a great coach, and that will all just fall into plan there. So he's a pretty obvious breakout guy from a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm more of an Emmanuel Sharp guy, but
Okay.
like again, Terrence
I like both of them.
Arsenault is,
I only put Arsenal on my list, but I
yeah.
kind of have Sharp as a breakout
Honestly, you
player
could
too.
throw both of these guys on here. I got 6 breakout guys on here just because it's a bigger conference. So
Okay.
I got Cam Carter. I think he's going to be in a catch and shoot role again. Like you look at Tyler Perry, right? And he's going to be in the top of everybody's scouting report. Same as Arthur Kaluma. Like these guys are going to draw a ton of attention. And what Cam Carter is going to be able to do is he's going to be in the corner, being able to space the floor. He's going to get a lot of open looks in the corner. They're going to be able to find him there if he's able to knock down like threes at a good efficiency, like a nice 8 to 10 points per game, great defender. He's probably one of their best defenders. I really think that's a really good role for, I think, a top three Kansas State team in this conference. So I think for him, I think that's a little bit of a breakout, and they're going to need him to kind of take a little bit of a scoring jump and be that off ball guy in their offense, because they do kind of lack that in my opinion. So
Yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, he was just like bad offensively last year.
yeah, it
So
was a weird.
that's why I stayed away from him.
I get that. No,
I could see a world where he gets better, but he was not a very good
yeah, he was
offensive
very
player
limited
last
on that
year.
end for sure, for sure. I
So
see it.
I did not include him. I could see him breaking out. Another guy I have is Milos Uzan. Kind of already broke out in a sense. He was really good as a freshman, but I think like the he's going to be their number one guy this year, which is why I had my breakout players. I think he could almost be like NBA draft guy. He's really good, can score the ball, can shoot the ball, good passer. I think he's gonna fully break out into like the number one role.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys I've included, I've already talked about. Like I got Pop Isaacs here. Again,
I didn't put him on because he was good, too good for me last year
yeah.
to really. But
There's a big
I mean,
definition, but like
yeah,
the thing is, like he's really going to be jumping a level this year.
yeah,
But
I do think he will though.
so by definition, I probably should have came up with a couple other ones, which I
I
definitely could
mean,
find
yeah,
if I look quickly. But yeah, and then I already talked about Curtis Jones and Keyshawn Gilbert, who I have on here. I'm really high on Iowa State this year. Like I love Iowa State this year in the roster. So, I was very geared towards them. And I also kind of forgot Houston a little bit this year. So I was making some last second additions there, but
yeah.
we're all set there. So yeah, no, I definitely think there's a lot of guys that are going to be in for bigger roles with all the roster turnover this year in this conference. And yeah, kind of look at guys on West Virginia too. What was
Yeah, I was gonna say
Noah
I have.
Farrakhan is another one. Like,
He's not gonna play, but you're
yeah,
not
oh,
gonna
is
get a
he
waiver.
waiver?
He's
Yeah, I'm about to
also
say
not that good. But
he's
I have
not.
Seth Wilson on my breakout. He can shoot the ball.
That's
He's
good.
gonna be a starter now. Like
Mm-hmm.
if he's gonna be good, then I mean he can shoot the ball. Has like pretty good size for a guard.
For
So
sure.
I like him to break out. The last guy I had on my breakout list was Dylan Mitchell. Obviously has all the athleticism in the world, just needs to like develop more talent, which I think is possible. But I mean,
For
he's gonna
sure.
have maybe a bigger role. I mean, he started last year, but didn't really play starter minutes like that. Um,
I'm looking at West
so
Virginia's roster. They got Acock. Acock is not going to get a waiver.
yeah, he's good. I
He's
think he's a
good.
grad. He's a grad because
Oh, that's true.
he entered in like August. He's
Okay.
fine.
I bet to say he's just been everywhere.
It's just battle that's kind of up in the air.
Okay.
Um,
But Kobe Johnson, low key.
yeah, I think Wilson's more of a guy that can actually take a big numbers jump
Yeah.
more than Kobe
I still
Johnson, but
can't.
I could see a jump
I
there.
still can't believe they are Quinn Slazinski. But hey, it's
Yeah,
good for him, man. He deserves to play. Like he's had a rough
he's solid.
college,
He's pretty skilled. But
He's
yeah,
rode the bench for like 3 straight years now, so I kind of want to see him have a role, and he should definitely have one here. So
yeah. But anyway, moving to our all freshman team, I assume we both have Walter
Yep.
somewhere. Yeah, so we already talked about him. I have El Marco Jackson from Kansas, another guy that's going to benefit minutes wise from the Arterio Moore situation. Um,
I
I think he was,
originally had him here, but I feel like there's other freshmen that will be a bit more scoring. Yeah,
I
and of
think,
course
isn't he a scorer though?
There's minutes with the Arterio Mara situation, sure, but like
I mean,
they
he's going to
still
be
have
their
some guard.
best player off the bench. I mean, not that they have many players off the bench to begin
Then
with, but
here's the thing: Miro Little and GZ James are going to be starting and definitely be.
Mira Little's not going to start.
You don't think so?
No, he's not gonna. I mean, their point guard's Ray J. I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna
Okay.
start him, Love, and Walter.
Okay. Yeah. And then Jada Nunn too. Okay.
Yeah, Jay Nunn's gonna be up. bench too. But yeah,
Okay.
he's decent.
Yeah, I originally had Jackson over here over Little, but then I switched last second because I saw
I
Little this
think
crazy prospect.
Jackson is gonna be better this year, but I do
Yeah.
like Little.
Okay.
He's still gonna be good
I
too.
see where you're coming from, especially the Mara situation now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even I had him on I had him on my team before this, honestly, but this just kind
Okay.
of cements him as a bigger role, which
I
does
agree.
not hurt. I had two Iowa State guys. I had Milan Momcilovic and Omaha Baloo. Momcilovic is a really skilled forward, and Baloo is a really athletic forward. Both gonna maybe be starters. Baloo for sure. It just kind of depends on how the rotation runs, but they're both gonna get major minutes. Um,
Does Marcus Adams play this year?
I don't know. I don't know. But
No, I'm looking at BYU's roster. I'm like, if he can play, man, like BYU, I think is very underrated this year. They're my
I do think
sleeper
they're
team.
underrated. I don't think you're I think they're
Um,
kind of underrated regardless if it plays or
I
not.
feel like no, I would love
I
to see
think their
him
forward
play,
group is good.
man.
They just need like a four though. Like
Yeah,
they're like 4 and 5 are really good anyway.
they
So
do. They
they
have a ton of
they could use depth
fives.
though.
They have a
They
ton of
could use depth.
fives. He was my 5 here, and then I have
Okay.
Milan as my 4, and then Walter is my 3.
Okay.
So
I had Brandon Garrison as my last guy. I don't like Oklahoma State, but he's going to be in a starting position from day one. I think he can be a pretty good impact player despite how bad Oklahoma State might be. Quite frankly, I mean, not like terrible because the Big 12 is so good, but they're towards the
I'll
bottom
be
for
honest,
sure.
I think they're terrible.
Yeah, yeah, they are, but like that's compared to the rest of the conference. Like if they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
another conference, they would just be like, oh, they're not that good. But because the Big 12 is so good,
of
there's
course.
um
That's true.
yeah, but speaking about who's good and who's not, we will talk about our individual team reviews. And for this, I'm going to start with the four new teams first,
Let's go.
starting with BYU. So we obviously just touch on BYU real quick. We can talk about them fully in depth. They went 7-9 WCC last year, but I think this is a kind of a good team. Like I kind of
I
agree
agree.
with what you're saying. I really like Ali Khalifa.
Yes.
He can pass and shoot the ball, not like super mobile or anything, but I think he's really good. You got Fus Traore next to him, who's a lot of people are really high on him. I would think I am pretty high on him as well.
I
Um,
love Noah Waterman. I'm a huge Noah
he
Waterman fan.
he's
Like,
good in theory, but I don't know
he's got
how
a
good he
lot of
actually
skills.
is.
He's like,
Yeah, he's good in theory. Like theoretically, he's a really good player, but he's not like
Big 12.
actually a
Though,
super
man,
efficient shooter. Even though
Yeah,
he like has
I
really
mean,
he
like
has skills for his
you gotta
size.
look at it like he was a Detroit Mercy where Antoine's dad was the freaking coach and they were taking
Yeah,
whatever the hell shots they wanted to. Obviously, under Mark Pope, that's not going to be the case. Like,
yeah.
there's gonna be, oh, you're not allowed to take that shot. Like there was a it was Detroit Mercy was an AAU team. We're just gonna keep it at that. He's on an actual college basketball team now. Obviously, they have a really good front court, so he's gonna be battling for minutes, but he's got a lot of perimeter skills and
Yeah.
I think he's very talented and I think he'll have a role this year, at least off the bench. So
Yeah,
um
they have like a really good starting 4 or 5, but their 4 or 5 depth,
he is bad.
if Adams doesn't get a waiver, is
I
not
think
great.
guard depth is a real problem. I'm looking at that
I kind of
guard.
like their guard depth. Like Dallin Hall, I mean, obviously Dallin Hall will be starting,
Yeah,
but
down Hall
I think he could be in for a bigger year too.
for
I really
sure.
like Dawson Baker. He can score the ball. At the 2. Jackson Robinson, I have as a 3 in the lineup.
Yep.
Good athlete, I think. I mean, he's already played for multiple high major schools.
Spencer
Then I have
Johnson.
Spencer Johnson off the bench. She could start as well. Pretty solid impact player. You have like Richie Saunders, another year 2 guy. Trevin Nell coming back from injury. So I think their guard depth is good actually.
Yeah, as you're like a sleeper on Cincinnati, this is like my sleeper team.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some guards here that are going to take a step up. The thing with BYU is like, and same thing goes to Cincinnati. Like this physical brand of basketball, how are they going to adapt? Like these are both teams that really struggled defensively last year. And how will they adjust to the best defensive conference in basketball? Like, they have talent here. Both Cincinnati and BYU have talent easily, but like, how are they going to adjust with, getting pressured most games? Like, this isn't the American anymore where
I mean,
you have,
they were a decent defensive team last year.
yeah,
I mean, Traore is obviously a dominant
that's
rebounder on
true.
both ends. He can rim protect a little bit.
Yeah, they
Um,
had their games, so they were good defensively. Then they had their games where against South Dakota, where they gave up 90 points
yeah,
to a team
yeah,
that was terrible at
yeah. I
home.
mean,
You just have,
yeah,
I don't know. BYU was a very weird team last year, but they had games where I really liked them. Like against Gonzaga, they always played well. They just
yeah,
choked at the end of games, because they didn't really have that shot creator. And I think that's still kind of a problem here, but
yeah.
that number one
That's my
option's
one
gonna be a
issue.
problem. That's
Yeah,
kind of the one thing that comes to my mind here.
yeah.
Because they did kind of have, who was that? Was his name George or whatever?
Gideon George, he wasn't really a number one guy though. Like
Yeah,
their number one guy was, I mean, maybe like Rudy Williams. It was probably Traore, but he's not like a number one guy in sense. Like he's just
George
a
helped though. Like George
yeah.
definitely had games
He
where
was
he
pretty
went off.
versatile.
Like,
But yeah, they didn't really. I mean, Rudy Williams was probably their
was
closest thing
pretty
they
good.
had, but
Yeah,
like yeah, that's the one thing that kind of worries me. Like I like the depth, I kind of like the roster. I just don't like that top end. Um,
yeah.
moving forward to our next, or wait, where do we have BYU in conference?
So yeah, for that reason, like I want to put them higher. I do. I actually still have them pretty high here. I have them fifth from last.
Okay, you're confusing me. I thought you were gonna say you have him fifth because
No,
I have him
no.
10th as well. I
Okay,
have
wow. There we go.
um new moving forward to UCF.
So many teams
I'm
here.
pretty sure we both had him last.
I have them second to last. Yep.
Okay,
I,
but I mean they're not like terrible. They're just
I
not
don't
like
think
a
they're that
Big
bad, to
12
be honest.
team. I'm not like super in this roster. It's like kind of a I don't
It's a
know.
roster that's gotten better recently,
I
somewhat.
mean, it's not. It doesn't really seem like a big high major roster to me. Like
Yeah, of course.
Darius Johnson's
I like
solid.
Shamari. I think Shamari's
He's
decent.
okay. I mean, I like Jalen Taylor's a little more. I
I
think.
like Sellers more too.
CJ
Darius
Walker
is
coming
pretty
back
good.
from CJ Walker back from injury.
Omar Payne.
Yeah. Ibrahim Diallo is kind of good
Oh
though.
yeah,
Like
no, Diallo. Let's get into him. He's good.
he can
Um,
really rebound, rim protect, that sort of
they
stuff
got
that you
Demar
want from a
Langford
big.
too. Demar Langford's
It
pretty
did.
good.
They have
Um,
just like so many random guys in the team. They have like
true. Marcellus Avery.
yeah, like Antoine Jones. How did Antoine Jones end up
They have a
here?
guy named Poopa. What is his
Oh
name?
yeah, yeah,
And they have Thierno Sila. He looks intriguing at least.
yeah.
Um,
Tyler Hendricks.
oh boy.
Yeah, but
Next up.
no, he only was at UCF because his brother was there.
Yep.
He might be okay, but like he's
Charlie
probably not.
May. Charlie May.
I don't even know what that is. He's probably
Dusty
walk
May's
on.
it's Dusty May's
Oh yeah,
son.
yeah. I know. I remember that happening now.
Yep.
But yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think. I mean, look, I like Shamari Allen. Like, I don't think he's that bad. Darius Johnson, I like.
At the end of the day, Taylor Hendricks is so good last year, and they don't have anyone close to
That's
that.
true.
Like
Of
they don't
course.
have anyone close to that
I
level.
mean, yeah, of
So
course. CJ's decent. I think Sellers is in for a big scoring jump. He was really
yeah,
efficient last year. Yeah, and Demar Langford's a good shot creator. Like,
he's
he
fine.
knows how to create a space. I just think there's more shot creators on here than there is on Oklahoma State. So I kind of picked them over at for that reason. So
Maybe let's see. Next up we have Cincinnati, who I have in ninth in the conference.
I have them 12th. Yeah.
Okay. I like Cincinnati. Like I think Wes Miller's a really good coach. Like I mean, he improved a
We
lot
know we
from year one to year
disagree.
two.
We disagree with Matt West Miller. It's one of the
But like, I
things.
feel like a lot of people are out on him. But he got a lot. Like Cincinnati was 50th in Ken Palm last year. That's not bad. Like he got a lot better from year one to year two.
Were they
I
really
like.
50th in Ken Palm, though? Let's
I mean,
really
a
be
lot of that was
honest
kind of
here.
propped up by the NIT run they went on. But like, still,
Yeah, exactly. I think they're more of like an 80th last year. Like they
That
were really
maybe
not
more like
good.
yeah. I don't totally disagree with that, but I do like the roster.
Like
I'm
I
a
think
big
a
C
healthy
muscle coaches
Temple was
guy.
better than them.
Temple was
Temple beat them
they were poorly coached.
twice.
They were really
Yeah,
poorly coached.
they were. That's true. Um,
They had so much talent. That's so just such a
yeah, well,
disappointment. But anyway, Cincinnati, I'm a big C muscle coaches guy personally. That's
mhm.
part of the reason why I'm in on him. I think he's like really skilled, can kind of do a little bit of everything if he can really like expand like his
Lukosius is
usage.
good.
He, obviously huge locking guys I mentioned. Not a huge TJ Frederick guy, but he has been a really good shooter in the past. And if he's good, he'll play. If he's not, Skillings will probably start it too. You have John Newman coming back from injury who didn't play at all last year. Even if like Bandego isn't eligible, you still have like Odio Guama like off the bench for a big like
Yeah, it's true.
there could be worse situations like Josh Reed is another sophomore. You obviously got Jizzle James and Rayvon Griffith, who are both like really high level freshmen, I think. Um, Griffith's more of a he's more of like a wing, athletic wing. Jizzle James is more of like he's really athletic too, I believe. He's gonna be the point guard. But they also could start Davion Thomas, who's also really athletic. He's a JUCO transfer. So I don't dislike this team. Like I think there's a lot here to work with.
I think for a lot of these guards, this is just going to be a really big jump. Like I'm looking at Day Thomas from JUCO. Like
Yeah.
how is a 6 foot 185 guy going to stay in front of Houston's guard?
He's athletic though. He's like really athletic.
Yeah, it's one thing to be athletic, but it's
No,
another thing to
I
stay
know.
in
I
front of
know.
somebody. Like you gotta be able to slide your feet. You gotta be able to take a charge. Like, it's not
Yeah.
athleticism doesn't save you in the Big
No,
12.
you're right. You're right.
Um, yeah, I just think it's a like I think Lukosius can play on this level for sure. I think
Yeah.
Frederick,
And
obviously,
Frederick can. Like he wasn't good last year, but like he's
yeah,
shown the ability to do
of
so.
course.
Like I
And
don't think Bandego's gonna have a problem if he's
no,
eligible.
no, no.
Jamil Reynolds is solid
Oh yeah,
enough.
Jamil's huge. No, Jamil is going to be a tank no matter where he is.
Hmm.
He's somebody I really liked from Temple last year. So hope he's eligible. But no, I still have my worries with Skillings and Day Thomas and Jizzle James on defense, especially. Like they need to really put in work on that end of the ball. And I feel like what's going to happen is that these young wings like Rayvon Griffith and other guys are going to get minutes to help out on defense. Like, they have size. It seems like they can help on the perimeter where Cincinnati's a little bit undersized and maybe, not as strong as these other teams. They have some really, and Josh Reed's another guy I see here, really talented wings that are versatile on defense that can help out. But I mean, I need to see that before I really start to buy on Cincinnati. Yeah, but perimeter defense and shot creation on offense is going to be my big thing. It does help to have John Newman back though. He was a pretty good player before
Yeah.
he went down. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in on Cincinnati, but I mean, there's some issues here. I'm probably higher than on them than most,
and
but
yeah,
you're
Wes
good.
Miller has to perform this year. Like I'm tired of the excuses. I'm sorry, but like
But he was like not he improved a lot from year one to year two.
I mean,
And the
here's the
program
thing,
was in a
right?
bad place when he took over.
Of
John
course,
Brandon tanked the program.
he was terrible,
And
but
he improved 50 spots in Ken Palm in year one.
Cincinnati fans are hardcore basketball fans. Like, and part of the reason that is because there's nothing really else going on in Ohio. Although the Bengals have been decent recently,
Man, not in this year.
not this year, but obviously, like Cincinnati basketball under Mick Cronin, like tournaments were guaranteed. They want to get
Yeah,
back
and
to that level.
I mean, I think they
Mhm.
are. Like, I think John Brandon's that tenure just set him back a little bit. I
It
mean,
did.
Miller
Like,
went from 101st in Ken Palm his first year to 50th last year.
that's
Like,
an improvement. They
there is a
definitely
lot of
improved
momentum being
last
built
year.
here. They're recruiting
Um,
to a high major level.
Recruiting's been good for sure.
Um, yeah,
They just I need to see a tournament. Like, it's going to be tough in the Big 12. They
yeah,
need to get back to that Cincinnati basketball standard. I think of Cincinnati as a really good basketball program. I think of them as someone that should be making the tournament every year, talent wise. So I mean, I just think the bar might be set a little low for Wes, but they need to, get back to that standard. And they have an intriguing roster this year. So hope the
Yeah,
waivers work out for sure because I love Aziz and Jamil,
yeah.
guys like
But
that.
the next team we are going to talk about is Houston. I have them second.
Yeah, Adam said.
Um, yeah, there's really solid team overall. Really good backcourt. You got Shed, Cryer, Sharp, Arsenault, Damian Dunn. They're probably going to play 4 guard lineups, with some of those guys being like big enough to guard 4s and 3s, and obviously Jawan Roberts. I mean,
Would you
whoever.
crucify me for this take? Do you see a world where they're better than Kansas? I think I might, especially with
Not
Morris out. I think there's a
really.
world where they might be. I didn't put them over Kansas, of course, and of course, I'm a huge Kansas hater. But so to take those things into account, but Arterio Morris is a loss, man. Like I thought he was going to start. I
I
thought he
thought
was
he was
going to
going to
be
be
really
really good
good.
too, but he would have been their 6th man.
Yeah, I think he might
Like
have been able.
that's
Yeah, okay.
he could have cracked a lineup, but like
I just
I
think
think
Houston's really deep this year, like 9 really good guys.
I mean that's if
Obviously,
the freshmen are good,
I mean, yeah, you
right?
but Sharp, Arsenault,
Yeah, I mean it's
Roberts. I mean, that's 8, I think.
y- yeah.
And I don't, Kansas
Oh,
isn't
7, I
ridiculous.
think
Kansas isn't
maybe.
ridiculously deep either. Like
No,
Kansas is
I mean they don't even have
definitely taking
players like.
hits. Right. So no, I just feel it. But Kansas will be better defensively this year. That is the thing. Like, that was definitely a weakness of theirs at times last year. Guards got to wherever they wanted. So and they didn't really play a center. That was another thing. So defense should be a lot better this year. But again, Kelvin Sampson just sets a whole different level of defense, and I could see a world where Houston could possibly beat them once, maybe.
Yeah,
I
they could
mean,
beat them.
you know, I don't think the gap is that big between Houston and Kansas now. But obviously Kansas is my number 2 team in the country now. But
Yeah.
I love Houston's roster this year, though. Like again, like offensively last year, they had their limitations. They had trouble scoring sometimes last year. Like that Temple game is one I really think of where
Yeah.
Marcus Sasser
They
had a
were
weird
good
year.
scoring team. I think that was like an anomaly, but
Uh, they had their games where, especially even in the tournament, like they just couldn't
yeah,
keep up
they
with Miami scoring. Like, they relied on Sasser and Shed for a lot of their offense last year. Like if Sasser was off, it was, you know, and they just have a lot more shooting this year. You got LJ Cryer, Damian Dunn, you got Sharp. I mean, those are 3 really
yeah.
good shooters. So I love
I
the
honestly
construction of this
don't
roster.
think Tremont Mark was a huge loss.
No,
Defensively, he was good, but like he
he's
was
a
not good
shot chucker.
offensively.
No, he was
He's
part of
not
the
efficient
reason they
either.
were
Like
He
was
was
not
part of the reason
efficient
they were
at all.
limited on offense last year.
Yeah,
Like he was taking
I don't
bad
like him.
shots. Yeah,
I
I
do
agree.
not like him that much.
I think Houston got better this year. I really do.
They were so good that I don't think they got better, but like they didn't really get that much. It's hard to get better when they were like arguably the best team in the country. Like I mean, not the best team in the country, but like
I think
they're
they're more
in that top.
tournament built. Let's say it this way. Like there's not 1 or 2 guys that you have to stop now. There's like 4 or 5 that you really have to worry about.
Maybe I don't
Um,
think anyone in this team is that close to being as good as Sasser was though.
Sasser was kind of weird last year, man. Like I
He
didn't.
was really good.
He had his games where he was just like, I'm like, is this like an all American? Like he just couldn't shoot the ball. Like
He was pretty consistent. I
defensively,
mean
you know what you're gonna get from him, of course, but
he was really good offensively. He was their best offensive player. He was
for
pretty
sure.
efficient. I
I
mean,
think
obviously he had a few bad
I
games here and
think in
there, but
a backcourt of Damian Dunn, LJ Cryer, and Shed can be just as effective, though. I certainly
maybe
think so. Um,
I'm not
and
ruling it
then
out.
and then you got Sharp and Arsenault, who are both really good players that can really take a step up. So that's just me, my take on it. But
Yeah. Okay.
anyways,
Yeah. But moving on to teams that were in the conference last year, Texas Tech finished last. They're not going to finish last this year. I have them at 5th.
I have them at 8. Um,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I like Texas Tech. I do.
I mean, really, the gap between 5 and 8 is like not that
Yeah.
much at all for
No,
me.
I mean they're a tournament team. Like they're gonna
I
make.
think let me go to my. You can keep talking. Let
Yeah.
me go to.
So I just think the teams in front of them, like I think Texas is still more talented than them by a good bit. I know, of course, the coaching gap is big. But no, I think Texas does have a lot of talent still. And I'm not even that high on TCU, but TCU has got a really loaded front court.
Yeah, but I have there's like an 8-team nationally difference between fifth and eighth. So I mean,
Right.
yeah, that's
I
fine,
mean,
I
it's
guess.
really close. Yeah, and coaching could make that difference between who finishes where, of course.
And
I'm
Graham
big
McCaslin's
up.
amazing.
He is.
He is
He
such
is.
a good coach.
Um,
North Texas was like not good at all in basketball before he got there, and he took him into
sure.
like a bubble-ish team like every year,
That's true.
at least past
Um,
few.
I just kind of worry about and I was going through his roster. I was kind
It's a
of
good roster.
it
Like
is,
it's
but
not like super like offensively based, but like that's McCaslin's style. And I mean, I
it
think
is.
Isaac's. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's gonna be what Tyler Perry was, but like there's a world where he's not like super far off.
That
I
is true.
mean, he's not
I
he's not
agree
gonna be
with
as
that.
good because of how good Perry was, but like I think he can be that sort of same player where like you have like this
A
one
number
great
one.
offensive player and then but even the guys around him like can play offense a little
Yeah,
bit.
looking at this roster closer last night, I was actually more impressed with it than I thought. Like they got Joe
Hmm.
Toussaint now.
Yeah.
Does he need a waiver?
No, he's good.
He's a grad. Oh, or no, he's a senior.
He's good.
They got Darian Williams, who I
He, he's
love
good.
that
He's
pickup,
good.
man. Great two-way guy.
Yeah, can really versatile. Can kind of like handle the ball a little bit.
Lamar Washington, I see
Yes,
here.
I
He's
think
an
he could be in
intriguing
for
guy.
a breakout potentially. Uh, Devin Cambridge is very good. Obviously, Warren Washington,
Kyron
Chance
Lindsey.
Mc Chance McMillan's a guy that provides offense. Yeah, Kyron Lindsey was like good at Georgia and just left like 10 games in. Like, and he fits perfectly what McCaslin wants too.
Yeah,
He's like a
no, there's a lot of pieces that
athletic.
people sleep on this roster that I think can really be effective for what Graham
Even
wants
like
to
Kerwin
do.
Walton, like he has been good before. Robert Jennings, like almost transferred to Virginia, but instead wanted to come back. Like you have to think he's going to get at least some minutes.
Right. No, there's a lot of guys competing for minutes here.
Like
Um,
besides the freshmen, who I don't think the freshmen in Drew Steffi and Emily
yeah.
Yalaho will play, but like everyone else like can sort of play.
Didn't
And like
even Jack Francis play last year? Or am
I
I
don't know who that
completely?
is.
All right, maybe he's just a walk on, but
Yeah, I think you're making
yeah,
that
he
up.
he smells walk on. And then they got Demarion Williams here.
Yeah, like he
He's
was really good
solid.
at Gardner Webb.
Right, that's the guy from Gardner Webb. Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Um,
No, this is a solid team here. Definitely see a
it's a
lot.
really good team, and defensive is going to be amazing. You got Washington Williams, Cambridge, Toussaint's a really good defender. Like Lindsey's, like it's just a perfect Grant McCaslin team.
It is. I'm gonna move them to. I'm gonna move them up. I'm gonna move them to 7. Yeah, I'm gonna move them above Texas. I think that's a move that I can make.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with having them above
TCU's
Texas.
tough. Like I don't love TCU this year, but it would be hard to put Texas Tech above
Yeah, I mean,
TCU.
at that point, you're just like not really changing much. You're just
Right.
like they're so close in the standings that like
I
it's not
agree.
really that big of a deal. But
I
yeah, I like this team a lot.
No, I definitely think so. A lot of pressure is going to be on Isaacs, but I think he's ready for it. Like he has serious shot creation skills, so
Yeah, and he was pretty efficient last year from 3-point range, if
for
I
sure.
remember correctly.
And they have shooting around him too, so that hopefully shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, moving to our next team is Oklahoma. I have them 11th.
Yeah, I have them at 12th. That's right.
Okay. Didn't you have Cincinnati at 12th?
How many teams in this conference? 15?
14.
14. So I have them at 11. There we go. We both have them at 11. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So no, this is a roster was actually a little better than I thought. Like I wasn't obviously looking up Oklahoma's roster in the offseason. So,
I don't like the raw. I mean, it's a lot of
I
weird
was
pieces.
I
I
set the
like
bar
Uzan.
really low. I
I
set the
like
bar
Uzan.
really.
I like McCollum a little bit.
I'm a big John Hughley fan still.
I
I know you
Pittsburgh was
aren't.
so much better when he stopped playing.
And it is weird.
I mean,
I
like, I'm
don't
not
like
sure
to.
like how much I'm really buying into that, but like
He was such a
it's
good player, though.
he
Like
was
he was
okay. I mean,
efficient. He was great on the glass. He was. I don't know. I think it has more to do with it when Hughley just not playing. Like he was still a really good player. I think it was kind of more of the guards were more bought into it. I don't know. I just want to put it all on Hughley. I don't think that's fair to him per se.
not all of it, but like that's
He
it's
wasn't
there.
that
Like,
bad on defense. Like, he was really good on offense. I think
yeah,
Pitt
he
had
was,
other problems.
but at the same time, he's like such a high usage guy. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
the thing,
he
right?
wasn't
Like,
great on offense. Like, he was good, but he wasn't like super efficient.
yeah,
Like, he was really good at getting
um,
the line. That's one thing he is really good at. But like,
we're gonna see how he is when he's not a super high usage guy. I mean, he'll still be like one of their top scoring options,
mhm,
but not
yeah,
obviously as high of a usage guy as he was at Pitt. He was
yeah,
quite the
yeah.
but you got a Tega Owe, former
I
Penn State
am
kid.
in on Latrey Darthard.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I
I
think
hope
he's pretty
we're
good.
Latre is a good player.
I'm out
Good on
on
both ends.
Rivaldo Suarez though. I don't think he's that good.
No, is he where is he from again? Is he?
Oregon.
Oh yeah, he's terrible. I remember him.
Um, yeah, Owe is a really good athlete. I thought
They
he'd be
got
better
Yaya
last year.
Kita. I like Yaya Kita.
Re-
Um,
okay.
he's good on defense. Miles Uzan is a solid player.
He's gonna be probably maybe their best player. Loki, like Sam Godwin was really good last year. He was a preferred walk on. Remember, because he came from like Wofford where he was like a
Oh yeah,
good-ish player. And he was like super efficient. He was really good on both sides of the ball. Didn't play a ton, but like he was Loki like really efficient last year.
they
Like he
got
was
Jalan. They got Jalan Moore too.
yeah, he's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What can I
definitely a power
expect?
conference athlete, maybe not a power conference player. Um
This guy Jacob Cole from Link Academy seems intriguing.
It's okay.
6'7",
I think their best
211.
freshman is Caden Cooper, but I also think Caden Cooper is a little raw right now.
Yeah,
Um, a
he
good
seems
athlete though.
pretty raw. Oh,
Um,
he's from the Skill Factory, which Wilmore's from. That's right.
Dude, this is not someone you want to be comparing to, but
I don't trust that school, but it's all
I'm
right.
sure they've produced some other guys. Um,
Otega Owe is good though. Like I think
yeah,
he's
he's
gonna
really
prove
good
pretty good
defensively.
here.
He is really good defensively.
He's someone I was annoyed Penn State lost.
They sold so hard. They literally brought his brother on the team as a walk on. Like they
That's
had all the
smart.
momentum and they couldn't get him.
And his brother was on the football team too.
Yeah,
Um,
his other brother was on a
he
football
got
team.
drafted.
Yeah. And like
So
his
there's
other,
that. But no, I don't think this roster is terrible, but I just don't think like a
it's
lot
a
of these
weird
guys.
combination of
It
pieces.
is. I don't think I got to see how Javion translates. Like that's someone I really
Yeah,
want to know
that's
how he's gonna be in the Big 12. And he was really good before he got hurt though with his back
yeah,
injury.
he's really good for sure. Really quick.
I think Latre will translate. I think. But then Suarez is bad. Like he's not efficient.
Yeah. I'm a little less worried about bench players though. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Um,
he's not good and they just
Hughley, I
don't
think
play
will be
him.
all right. No, I just don't see a world where Yaya Kita, I think, can get some serious minutes.
Maybe. I mean, he was only played 2 games before he got hurt last year. I mean,
Yeah, he's a good defender, and I think this is a team that'll need help interior defense because Hughley's not the
yeah.
best defender. You definitely want somebody next to him to help him there.
Maybe they get something out of redshirt freshman Luke Northweather. We will see.
Yeah,
But
it's an
yeah,
interesting roster of just interesting pieces. Let's just
I'm not super in on them, but I also like kind of see a world where they're okay.
Yeah, I feel for Porter Moser, man. He just shouldn't have taken that job. It's just a really hard job.
Yeah, I like Porter Moser, but it's not been going amazing there.
No, it hasn't, and it's gonna be tough to keep getting talent in
Where
there.
do you think he's gonna go? Because I don't think he's gonna stay there that much longer.
It's funny. Everyone thought Notre Dame, right?
What
That was gonna.
about DePaul? I mean, like he was like in the
Oh,
conversation for the job.
I
Like
know why you
you
say
don't
that
think
because
Stubblefield's gonna be there
Loyola's
that much
right
longer.
there, and
He was like he was in the mix for the job when they hired Stubblefield.
I really think he should take that job. Like
Like
I think
Stubblefield is not a good coach
no, he's
anymore.
not.
He was good year one. Now he just is not good anymore.
Stubblefield, everyone in the Big East, like, oh, his teams fight. Oh,
He
yeah.
did year one. He did year one. Year one, like 2 years ago, they were good.
Right.
Last year did show no fight. Out of DePaul tangent though, I think Mosier would be a great fit at
He
DePaul.
would. I would love him
Yeah,
there.
he almost went to Notre Dame, but I think like the buyout wouldn't really work
Yeah.
out. But I mean, the buyout gets going to get smaller as years go by. So that's a situation to watch. I don't think Mosier's super happy there. But next team we have West Virginia, who I moved down a few spots today to
For
12.
sure. Do I not have them in here? Jesus. I'm gonna have them 12th. You know what?
Okay.
I agree. I don't
You
think
need to
of
figure out what's going on. That's the third team you said you have at 12. You need to figure out what's going
yeah,
on
man, I
here.
can't count today. No, I'm just not big on this roster at all. I looked at it last night and it's just it's a shame
Yeah,
of
I
what
mean,
this roster was and what it is now.
Jose Perez
Like,
got kicked off the team. What are your thoughts about that? We need to talk about
he got
what our
kicked
thoughts.
off?
Did you not see that like two
I
days
mean, he's
ago?
been like, "Oh, I'm playing. Oh, I'm not playing. Oh, I'm playing. Oh, I'm
But
not
did you
playing."
not see how he like got dismissed from the team? What
No.
have you been living under a rock or something?
I mean, I do live on Jose Perez's downfall, but
Yeah, he made up some story which I don't know how. Like it was because you didn't go to a study hall or whatever. That he is a trying to find the right words, but um he's sort of a team cancer. It's not the words I was going for, but
he just likes to
for,
make up all this drama, bro. I don't
yeah,
and there's
he's
always drama attached to his name, and I get
he's
it. He's been through a lot. I get all
that's
that, but like, if you just want to play basketball, then let's play
yeah.
basketball.
I'm
Let's
not buying his story one
let's
bit.
stop doing all
He's
this stuff outside of basketball and let's play basketball. Let's get
I don't think
locked
he was that
in.
good either. Like he wasn't that good of a
No,
player. Like
we
he
both
was
both have said
his
that
game
over and
really
over.
catered to the MAC level of
Yeah,
play,
he's
which
like
well he
Jalen.
was good there, and he would have been good there if
He's like
he would.
Jalen Pickett, except like I don't think he translates. Like they
Yeah,
both love posting up in the mid range, and that's half their game. They can't shoot.
yeah.
No, they can't
Except
shoot
Jalen
at
Pickett's
all.
actually good.
And Jalen Pickett can actually shoot. Like
Yeah,
Jose
Jose
Perez
Perez is like
cannot shoot the
off-brand
ball.
Jalen Pickett. He's
Exactly.
off-brand. He's off-brand Jalen Pickett with a bunch of off-the-court issues.
I like that one.
But
I didn't hear about that, but I was like thinking, where's Jose Perez on this roster? Because I didn't see him
not
there.
on there.
It said they got
Yeah,
Jeremiah Bembry.
he's I don't think he's that good either. But anyway, like for Perez, like maybe he didn't do something small, but like Eiler in his press conference about it, he was like there was non-negotiables and like he West Virginia guys are getting so much money to play there. Like if you don't just do the things you have to do, then I mean you don't deserve a spot in the team. Like I
What was it about? Did you not show up for a study hall?
it was I mean and the full things are never gonna get released, but it
I'll look
was
into it afterwards.
yeah, I'm definitely siding with Eiler on this one. I probably think it was the right decision to get rid of him. Anyway, though, West Virginia, Jesse Edwards is amazing. I don't hate Kirk Risa. I think he can be good. Like he can shoot a ball, he can pass the ball. Like I think
Do
he's
you
a
think
fine
Kirk
second
Reese is
best
going to be
player.
good under an interim head coach?
I mean,
I don't know, man.
I mean,
If he isn't
Tommy
great
Lloyd was in
under,
his first year in Arizona when he would one of his years there.
but you could say that. Now of course,
I mean, I don't
Tommy.
think that really matters that much. Like
Yeah, he'll
how
have a
good
big
he's gonna be.
role, but yeah, again, even if he's great, it doesn't change how
Yeah,
good
I
he's
don't
gonna
know if
be.
I like that he's probably gonna have a decently sized role now. Like he can like I want to be passionate about like who do you pass it to? Like Jesse Edwards is
Quinn
the only other
Slavinsky,
player on this team. Like I don't really want Kirk Kriisa being like a number one option.
no,
But I do not hate Kriisa.
he's solid.
Quinn Slazinski, a Cook, they're okay power forwards. Very different players, but they're both
Yeah,
okay power forwards. Seth Wilson maybe plays a little bit more. I
Kobe
mean starting
Johnson's the guy
lineup,
I like.
shoot the ball. Kobe Johnson maybe gets more minutes. This roster is not good, man.
No, it's really bad. Um, but again, I am not a West Virginia fan. I dislike West Virginia, so I'm all for it. um, but no, I feel bad for Raekwon Battle. Like you forget about Raekwon here. He's their number one.
Yeah. If he gets his waiver pass, he's their
That's
best player.
true.
Or not best player. I think Edwards is better, but like Battle's the number one option type guy.
Yeah, they got a lot riding on waivers, just like so many other
Yeah.
teams. Oh, it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And then Farrakhan obviously needs one too.
Yeah. I think he's just
He's
like
not
kind of
very good.
accepted. I think he's kind of accepted that he's just redshirting, but he's not good either. So
No,
and
he's not
they're not
good.
missing out on much. But he would give him some playable like ish guard minutes, which they
For
don't
sure.
have. I know. But yeah.
No.
Next team, Oklahoma State. I have them 13th.
I have them
Um,
in the basement at 14.
I think they're definitely better than UCF, but I don't think they're that good either.
I'll just be honest here. I think Mike Boykin's a really bad coach. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
he gets the
people loved him,
necessary.
and then he just
I
like
don't think he gets the necessary criticism. I'll even take. Isn't Dawkins still the coach at UCF? Right. That's.
yeah,
He's pretty good. Like, I
he
don't.
might be on his way out though.
I mean, of course. Yeah, they got he can never win the big game over there. That's been his thing. Like, they
Yeah.
can't get over the hump, and now he doesn't have any talent. This
I don't
roster.
like this roster. Javon Small's good. Uh
Yeah, small.
from
Well,
East Carolina. He's good.
he's all right. I
He's
don't
good.
know
He's
if I'm
good.
is he Big
He,
12 good?
I mean, he averaged like 16 and 6 assists.
Yeah,
Like,
ECU.
I mean, it's not a terrible level of competition. Like
It wasn't awful.
he was playing he's
He
good.
was
Like,
playing Houston. He was playing some physical teams. He was.
yeah, he was hurt for a
Could he be
while
a
though. I
number
mean,
one on a Big 12 team?
I
Maybe.
mean, no, but
Oh.
like um he's
He's
fine
solid.
though.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Brandon Garrison. They have Isaiah Miranda as well from NC State.
Yeah, I've
Is
heard a
he
lot
up
of
there?
bad things about him.
Oh
And a lot
gosh.
of people don't like him. Like
Hmm.
feel like he's
He was just
another guy
coveted
that's
center. I
maybe a
don't
head
know.
case, maybe just not that good.
Oh gosh, another head
But
case.
it's worth taking a shot on though. Absolutely worth taking a shot on. If you're Oklahoma State, like he's
They have
hasn't
Mike
he?
Marsh from
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's I
Decent.
don't know. Nah, not the Big 12 level.
Yeah, exactly. John
He was a decent
John Michael Wright's back. Boy, he's
Jarius
all right.
Hicklin is another bad pickup. Like he's not a
No,
bad player, but like he's not even close to a high major caliber
no.
player. Like he was
Justin
not great at North Florida.
Justin McBride. Here's a freshman who had some offers from Ohio
Their
State and
freshman class is good.
Missouri.
Their freshman class is really good. But
Um,
like it only goes so far when this league is that good. Like
exactly.
Eric Daly and Brandon Garrison are both gonna start. Justin McBride, Jamiron Keller, and Connor Dow are both. I mean, they're all like solid.
Quyon Williams here, one
Keon
of three
Williams, yeah,
players is
he's not
back.
bad. He's not bad. I kind of like him.
He seems
He's a
decent.
player that I can get high on.
And they got Bryce Thompson
Yeah,
and
I
John
don't like
Logan
Bryce
back.
Thompson.
I
Like
don't like Bryce Thompson
I
either.
like the appeal of Bryce Thompson. Like I like what he could do. I just don't like what he actually does.
Yeah, he's just an inefficient scorer.
Yeah,
That's just what
like
he is.
he has the tools. He just doesn't have the actual
And
like efficiency.
I got to be honest here. Like Oklahoma State last year was, everyone talks about, oh, the defensive DNA of Mike Boykin. Like,
They were good on. They were really good on defense.
I mean, they had games where I'm like,
They were really good on defense.
remember that game when TCU dropped 100 on? I mean, I
Um,
know.
did that
Yeah, I remember that
yeah, it
game.
did happen.
That was why they lost by 40. And they had games
yeah.
where they were good defensively. They did. They did.
Okay, but they were like they were 12th in the nation defense, but that's good. Their
They
offense is
had,
just bad. And
yeah. Offensively, it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, they drove Musa Cisse out, who was a good center, because they just didn't use him offensively at all. Instead, they have just inefficient guards chucking up shots instead of using a really good big down low in the post and offense.
Cisse had no offensive game though.
I mean,
He
he
had
showed
no
flashes.
offensive game.
He was good in the lob game, but they never used him there.
Yeah, but I mean that's like the only thing he can do. He had no
Yeah, I'll
skill.
say
He
this:
was
it's
just a big
better than
defensive guy.
heavy contested 2-point shots, which Oklahoma State loved more than anything.
Yeah,
Bryce Thompson chucking up contested twos. It's not
yeah.
successful offense. Like
I
they
like
need
Javon
to.
Small more than any of your point guards from last year. Like Avery Anderson was bad last year.
Yeah. All right. No, I
Um,
could get behind that.
I can get behind Javon Small. I just cannot get behind their other two transfer addition combined with the fact that
Yeah.
John Michael Wright and Bryce Thompson are not like great players.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a team. They'll be good in defense. They'll be terrible in offense. They probably won't be that good overall. I have them 13th. But yeah. Next team is Iowa State. I have them 6th.
I have them fourth. I
Okay.
love State this year. So
Yeah, Oz is gonna overachieve. Lipsy is a really good starting point guard guy. Obviously the three combo guards they brought in Pavletsky, Curtis Jones, and Sean Gilbert are gonna be very solid. Really good freshman class as well. You have some bigs to work with. I think there's a little lack of really proven talent, but I think they're gonna be fine.
yeah. Obviously you're kind of like saying they have a lot of number one option candidates, but who's going to step up and be the number one
Yeah,
option?
I don't think they really have number one, but I think they'll be honestly, I think they might be fine without having number one because they're like a
I think they
defensive
do have a
team.
number one option. It's just like they need to share the
Who
ball. Like,
who's their number one option though?
Curtis Jones. I think it's Curtis Jones. Like this shot creation is he could
Yeah,
succeed
maybe, but like
anywhere.
he wasn't like amazing at Buffalo. Like he was really good, but like he wasn't
You
like
can't
out of
really
this
put
world
in
at
a
Buffalo.
lot to his numbers at Buffalo, and he was like their only shot creator
Yeah, he's
on a
good.
shitty
He's
team. They
good.
were terrible, and they were
He
terribly coached. That coach was terrible. Like there's not many
yeah, he
bigger
wasn't great.
talent wasters in college basketball than a Buffalo coach. They wasted talent like
Yeah, yeah.
three,
They
4 years in
they
a
they
row.
did they did do that, but
Yeah, I just think the huge coaching upgrade, the talent you have to work with, and Curtis Jones is good size. Like he'll be able to get his
yeah.
shot off in the Big
He'll be
12.
good. I'm not sure if I can trust him as a Big 12 number one option, but he'll be
We'll
good.
see. I mean, they definitely have some candidates. Like again, Keyshawn. Like we'll see. Maybe that's more of a stretch for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just think they can evolve a bit. But then yeah, isn't Jelani Hamilton pretty good? I've heard good things.
He's okay. I have him 10th in the depth chart.
Okay, yeah, no, he's definitely a backup. Obviously, Pavletsky, I'm not entirely sold on, but like, look,
He's really skilled though.
Pavletsky has proved people wrong. Like
Yeah.
for
He
a
was really good
while,
against
like
Texas
he was.
A&M.
Oh, I remember that game. That was so funny. I always love Texas when Texas A&M loses stuff.
Pavlovsky looks like he's 10 now.
He does. He's got such a baby face, man. Like, yet he is nasty though. Like the fact
He's
that he even got a Big 12 offer is a huge victory for him, and I'm happy for him. Like,
he's gonna
um,
be good.
no, definitely. I just kind of want to see his role in the offense, where he's gonna maybe they just play him off ball, which I think is what they're gonna do. And then they got good old Trey King. Um,
He was good once he started got eligible.
mhm. They're gonna miss Big Bob.
He's back.
Oh, he's back. Let's
I
go.
think so. Yeah, he's back.
Where is he? Oh, Robert Jones. Let's go.
Yeah, he is a one of the offensive players of all time, but I mean he could play big man minutes.
And then they got Milan, who we like. Conrad Hawley. They got some mean
Is
players on here. JT Rock is a 7-1 freshman from Sioux
yeah,
Falls.
I
So
think he's gonna redshirt
yeah,
because
it's
he's a
looking like a
reclass.
redshirt.
Um,
Hassan Ward's pretty good.
Hassan Ward, I like Hassan Ward. Like
Yeah, I mean
I think he could be. I think he could take a big jump this year.
he's your prototypical odds glue guy. He's gonna be really nice.
I think he's better than Robert Jones.
Oh, of course.
Um,
Rob.
yeah,
um,
Demarion Watson was
Demarion Watson,
solid as a freshman.
intriguing 6'7" guard, 215.
Yeah, this is another team
Um,
where defense is going to be amazing.
oh, of
That's
course.
kind of what Odds have been doing at Iowa State. It's play really hard. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter who they have.
This team's going to come down to the development of their combo guards.
Yeah,
they could finish as high as 4 and they could finish at 6. Like,
But Lipsy is going to be really good. Like
yeah,
maybe he won't put up like crazy scoring numbers, but he is like a really good passer, can get
he
to the
makes great
rim,
decisions.
really
Yeah,
good defender. Yes, he is. He was a real steal in recruiting,
he was.
right in Iowa State's backyard. So
He's that system player, man. Yeah.
he's perfect. TCU is the next team. I have them at 8th.
Yeah, I'm not super high on TCU, but I still have them 6th. But again, like we've been saying, not much separates 5 from 8 in this conference.
Yeah, I really don't love this roster. I
I
like
don't
Emmanuel
either.
Miller. I think the guards clearly downgraded. I think going from Bot and Miles to Jameer Nelson and Avery Anderson, I think it's a clear downgrade. Um,
I've been very
Choco
high
Bane's
on
solid.
TCU the last 2 years too. This hurts. Like I love Jamie
Yeah,
Dixon, but
there's a world where this is
I'm
a
not
good, really
loving
deep
this
team though.
roster. Just I will say the depth of this front court is
It's
unbelievable.
been deep too, and that's something to
Like
me. Let's go.
I
San
love
Francisco got a Australian 2024 commit live some live reporting. Jeff
really
Goodman tweeted, so
Austin.
he must be good.
Really Austin. You can't keep your San
I
Francisco
cannot.
standing out
James
of the
O'Donnell.
podcast.
I'll remember the name, but yeah,
What is he like a 2-star?
he's Australian and they're not really ranked.
That's true. They're
Jeff
always
Goodman
good.
tweeted it. He has to be good.
All right, all right, all right.
From the center of excellence, he's probably excellent, but
Oh, oh, oh.
yeah, he's gonna
No,
be
like
excellent. But anyway, back to
you look at
TCU.
this front court here, like I think Isam Mustafa's good, but I don't see him playing. I don't see him playing at
I don't
all.
love him. He's just like a rebounder. Like that's what he
He's
does.
not
Like
a good defender. He's a
he's
skilled
not really
post
a good
scorer.
defender.
He's a skilled
Sort
post
of.
scorer,
I
though.
mean, sort of. He's not really
I
like super
mean,
athletic either.
yeah,
Jacoby Coles is good though. Xavier Cork is
I
good.
love Xavier Cork, but like I'm
I
just,
love Coles. Coles is the guy I like a little more
oh
out of
yeah,
those
you
two.
know what?
Micah
Oh yeah.
Peavy is an amazing defender at like the wing for.
I
Um,
hope Cole starts. They need to start him,
I think
man.
Uday's gonna start.
But I know their front court is just so
Uday's
loaded.
gonna be good too. Like
I think
the
Cole's just such a skilled scorer. Like he can shoot from 3 too. He was efficient as hail last year.
can he?
I believe so. I get Cork and Cole's confused, but like Cole's was huge for them the second half of
I
last
think the
year.
problem with TCU is they can't shoot.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in theory, compared to other teams, because their guards are inefficient. Like,
Okay, Cole's kind of stretched the floor a little bit.
yeah, I mean, he didn't shoot much, but he was
No, but
good in his
he
attempts.
can shoot. I mean,
Um,
Micah Peavy though, he's amazing on defense.
he was.
Has offensive skill, has or not really skill, has like the potential, but he's not really that good. Yeah. The thing that worries me is their only like shooting cure is Trey Tennyson, who is a great shooter,
That's
but like
true.
that's really their only like high level shooter. Jameer
Well,
Nelson can shoot a little bit, but like not really like a
yeah, he's
guy
a
who
volume guy, so
like
we
Tennyson's
gotta
your only
see.
guy that's
Off ball that can catch and shoot, right? Like that I agree. I
yeah.
mean, did they have Chuck O'Bannon back though, right? Or is he
For his
gone?
7th year of college basketball, he is
Oh
back.
my gosh, he's been there forever, dude.
Yeah. But he's good.
He is.
Kind
He
of shot
can
the ball
shoot
well at the end of
sometimes.
last year. He
He he
ended the year
he
shooting good.
shoots like me. He shoots over his head. No, it's funny.
Yeah.
But he hits them though. He's one of the better shooters on their team, which he's not a great shooter,
Yeah.
but like he is one of the better shooters on TCU. So
They were a bad shooting team last year,
they
and they
were.
will be a bad shooting team again.
How about Isaiah Manning? 6'8" freshman,
I like
220.
Jace Posey better. Jace Posey is an athlete.
Okay.
The son of James Posey.
All right.
He's an athlete though.
6'5", 206.
He
Okay.
won like Texas
Forward.
high jump.
Oh,
He won like state of Texas high jump in state, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, he can jump.
jeez.
Isaiah Manning is decent though too, but I don't foresee either of those guys really having
Yeah,
huge
there's
roles
no
this season.
minutes for them.
Nah. Maybe Posey can get a little bit. They don't really have like a ton. Like if he can play to 2 a little bit, 2-3, they
Yeah,
don't have a ton of guard depth.
I agree.
They have decent guard depth. Like I don't think he'll get a ton of minutes. But he could play a little bit. Manning should probably redshirt. It would be in his best interest too. Yeah, that's Yeah, another good defensive team. Obviously, Jamie Dixon, good defensive coach. Uday is going to be really good in defense. Miller's a good defender. Avery Anderson's even a good defender. Like
For
they're
sure.
all good defenders. Which I think is going to be a staple of this team. Offensively, I don't like them as much as I did last year. But yeah, we've kind of talked about that.
They
Moving
can
forward,
bully, they can bully bad front courts, so that's definitely something
yeah,
they're gonna try and expose.
yeah. Um, Next team is K-State. I have them fourth, I believe.
I have K-State 3. I
Okay.
have 3.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be good again. I think Perry is from Noel is kind of a wash, honestly. Even though he doesn't really bring that like electrifying passing, like Noel was also a guy that really got out of control at times and did a lot of stupid things at times, even though he was still amazing. I don't think Perry's going to do any of that stuff. I think Perry's going to make some shots and play a little bit of defense.
For
Um,
sure. Yeah. Oh, and they got Will
yeah,
McNair recently too, so
yeah,
that's
that
something
was
to
a good
pick up for their
pick up
bench.
to fill the
Yeah.
depth. Gives a little less reliance on Drill Colbert. They also got
Mhm.
Quest Glover late, which was a pretty solid pickup as well.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, I mean,
This team isn't crazy deep, but they
a
can
lot
go
of
eight.
it's just
They
like
can go
Tang is going to be
8.
good. Like it's hard to not be fully in on Tang after last year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I love David Ingleson. Like, it's somebody I've loved for a
yeah,
while. I think he's in for a bigger year this year.
yeah,
He's going to be their starting 5, I believe. And he
yeah.
can stretch
Four
the
or
floor.
five, kind of depending on what Tomlin
Yeah,
plays.
he can
Probably more than
stretch the
five.
floor.
Can
He's a
he?
lot of offensive skills. Yeah, I mean, he's not the most efficient shooter, but like he's got the 3 level score set since he was a Virginia Tech Hokie, which is where I
Yeah, I
really
remember.
know and love him.
Yeah, I mean, he took 10 threes in the season, made
Yeah, he's
five of
kind of
them.
regressed in that department. Kansas State doesn't really love him shooting the ball because they have other shooters. I
Yeah,
think it's part
I
of it
wouldn't really
too.
count him to be, but he was really
Um,
efficient from inside last year.
he was.
Really efficient.
I just hope he gets more offensive looks. Is really what I'm looking for. Which I think he'll get a little more.
Maybe.
And he's good on the defensive end too. So yeah.
Yeah. Obviously Tomlin, we've talked about him earlier on. Klum, I talked about him earlier on as well. Cam Carter. I
And
mean, Taj Manning could be a guy to watch out for coming off a
it was
redshirt year.
Taymon Lindsay,
Probably a walk on.
5'8", 170, fifth
He's a
year.
walk on. All teams have guys like that.
5'8" is crazy though.
He's a walk on. He's not. He's paying for to go to college. Or he's obviously not
Uh,
good.
that's the smallest walk on I've ever seen.
There, there's. I
I mean,
mean,
shoot, I'm taller than him.
so am I. I'm as well. But
No, I
yeah. I
hope
mean,
Paluma has a bigger year too.
I think he
And
can.
I
I
think
think
he
it's a good
will.
fit.
Um, yeah. And they got great assistants too. Their assistants were reposting my content, so I love their assistants now.
W assistants. But yeah, I like their freshman class too.
No,
Day
yeah,
Day Ames, like RJ Jones, Caleb Rich. Um, yeah,
yeah. Michaela Bridge looks pretty good.
yeah. He's like a really big bodied guy. Like he
6'7", 240. Yep.
Yeah, he is big, but he's like kind of mobile too. He's not just like
They got RJ Jones from Wasatch. Okay.
yeah,
Wasatch is
he's
a great school. Like
they are. But yeah, overall, it's just like trusting Tang and trusting that Perry's really going to be that guy, which I think he can be. A lot of trusting Kaluma too to make this team to next level. Which I mean, Perry and Kaluma is kind of like a off-brand Noel and Keontae. Yeah, a lot writing on those two, but after last year, I have full trust in Tang. But yeah, Baylor is next. I have them third.
I
Um,
figured. I have them I have them fifth. I'm a little.
yeah, I'm not like super
I
high in them on national scale, but
no
like
not either.
I also like I really
I
there's
see
not like
some
a ton of
improvements here
talk.
though too. Like I see some improvement on the perimeter defensively, which is big, right? That's the biggest weakness.
Dennis is not a good defender.
He's not, but like you look at Jaden
That
Dunn.
might be more Toledo, just like they don't play defense as a team.
Of
I don't
course.
think he's like unable to defend, but
Here's
I
the
also
thing
don't think he's
last
really
year, like
gonna
they didn't have
defend.
perimeter defense on the roster last year. This year they have Jaden Dunn,
Yeah,
who's
Jaden
a
Nunn
good
can play.
defender.
He can defend. Love is fine. He's better
Love
than
is
what they
all
had
right
last
on
year.
that end.
I think Walters. I mean, probably
Walter, I
gonna
think,
be at least
can be a
better.
very high level defender going forward. Um, Obviously, you have to deduct some points with Caleb Lohner being on the roster.
He's a good defender. I think, isn't
Mm,
I think like that
he's
was
good on
like
the glass. He is good on the glass. I'll give him that much.
yeah,
He's physical on the
he's
glass. I don't want to say he's a great defender, but his minutes last year were brutal for them, man. Their plus minus, and I don't use plus minus at all. Like Baylor's plus minus and his minutes were like off the charts, and
yeah,
not
he was bad offensively. He was good defensively though.
all right, all
The
right.
numbers are suggesting that he was a positive
Okay,
impact defensively.
there we go. Okay, but
The
I
numbers are
remember.
also suggesting that he should not have been on the court offensively.
Yeah, the
Well,
plus minus is
yeah, I mean,
I just
he's
hope he
not
doesn't
that
play a lot,
good.
but I know he
I
will
mean, he
find.
wasn't like he was like sort of efficient like inside. He was just kind of like it's not really.
Yeah, I'm just happy
He's
they
there.
have some perimeter defense on the roster this year. Jaden Dunn is going to be a crucial player. Like, if
Yeah,
he gets a lot of minutes and he's able to really help them out defensively, Langston Loves is a good player.
yeah.
He can definitely defend. Yeah, I definitely think they're a little better than last year, actually, but I still have them
I
fifth
don't think
here.
they're better. I don't think they're necessarily worse. I wouldn't say they're better after like losing so much good players though.
Yeah, I just think as far as like tournament run wise, like the roster last year was not like built for that. Like they just had no perimeter defense on the
Yeah.
roster.
Um. Yeah. Josh Ojianwuna is a guy I sort of like.
Okay.
You got JTT back as well. Obviously Myra Little. Yves Missy maybe could play off the bench. He's a reclass, but I believe he was pretty good in international tour. D'Antoine Grimes, redshirt JUCO point guard. Yeah, just not a super deep team, but I mean, they have
I still
guys that I
like them
mentioned
at
can play.
three though, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like super on them nationally, but I think it's just like, um,
It's still
I,
Scott Drew. And even
yeah,
though Scott Drew's kind of
the
disappointed me
backcourt's gonna be
recently a little
great.
bit,
Defensively is gonna be a little bit better.
injuries have killed them recently too. I hope, they get everyone healthy for the tournament and things like that. So
Yeah, I think Walter really controls a lot here.
for sure, him and Little.
Him,
Yeah.
Bridges, but
What those
yeah.
freshmen can elevate the team.
Yeah, I mean Walter's the one they really need.
Yeah,
If
of
Little's
course.
bad, then they'll be
Right.
fine. I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, moving on to our second to last team, we have Texas. I have them at seventh.
Yep. Same here. I got them at
Yeah.
7.
Really, like, I don't know where we decided in the offseason that everyone was gonna have Texas like 15th in the
That's
country. I
ridiculous.
think that's groupthink right there. That is groupthink because they are not that good. Like Asmus
I
is
don't know where this
amazing.
hype is coming from though. Like, so let's think. No, let's think about Texas's run last year, where they didn't really play anybody. They played a Penn State team who hasn't made the tournament in 12 years that took them down to the last 2 minutes. That they don't win if Dylan Diso doesn't drop like 35 points in a career high. Um, and then they play. Who do they play after that? They play
Xavier.
they play Xavier, who is a good team, but like they were giving up 80, 90 a game all year,
Well,
and
I
they
think one thing
scored
is
one.
that was Chris Beard's team. This is now Rodney
And of
Terry's team.
course, we can get into
Rodney
that
Terry is
too.
not a good
Like,
coach. Like, I'm
no,
sorry. Like,
you,
maybe he can prove it this year, but like, I'm going based off what has happened before,
of
which
course.
indicates that he's not a good coach.
And UTEP
Um,
fans, will back us up here, and got a couple of follow me. Like he was a
yeah, like,
consistent underperformer there. Like, and
yeah, like they had like Sule Boom, Bryson Williams, like Jamal Bieniemy played at like started at Oklahoma. They had other talent on that team. Like Let me pull up like that. That's one of
And
my
the
favorite things to do.
Portland,
Pull up the
the Portland transfer.
Christian Scholand,
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I
where's
made a whole post about it. I
yeah,
remember.
Keontae Kennedy too is like a high major starter caliber
Deontay
guy.
is going to be a cow.
Like Titus Verhoeven like played at Northwestern. Like FAOGG was
It's just an
decent at
enormous
SMU.
amount of talent to fail with.
Like he had
And
Tariq Onyema who committed to
and
Texas this
let's be
offseason.
honest here.
Adam Hess.
Adam Hess is my guy.
Yeah, like that team
Sniper.
was Rodney
And
Terry
let's
could not
remember
use
here,
him.
this was before Conference USA even became a good conference.
They
Conference
it was
USA,
a COVID year. They were 12-12 and
Conference USA
8 and
wasn't
8 in
good till the last
conference
like
play.
1 or 2 years. Like before that, like to go 500 in Conference USA, it was very bad.
They were 5th in the Conference USA West Division. They were worse than UTSA. Did UTSA still? I mean, I guess they still had Javon Jackson and Keaton Wallace, but like, still like that's not as
and
much talent as.
and it's just he was so bad to the point where you got to think it's gonna show up at some point, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, he was
his
decent at
ability to
Fresno.
coach. Yeah, he was all right there.
Like I
When
don't
it
know.
comes to
Like
in-game coaching, like that stuff matters. Like it's
I
gonna
also just
show
like don't
up.
like this roster.
No, but we'll get into that too.
Like
Like
A Smith is great. Just a healthy Dessou is pretty good. Tyrese Hunter is not a guy I really
I don't
like.
like Tyrese Hunter, man. Like you
Dylan
can
Mitchell could be good, not really proven yet.
there's all
Katie
the Iowa
Shedrick,
State memes of Tyrese Hunter
yeah,
not being able to shoot, but like they're right. Like he
yeah.
really like isn't a good shooter and
That was the worst decision of his career to leave Iowa State
you
because
know
he
it
was good as a
was.
freshman. He was a lot worse last year.
Yeah, like he's good on defense, sure, but like that's
Um,
all he really gives you. Like he
I
doesn't.
think it'd be better if they used him as a point guard
I
though.
agree. We both said that too. Like Max Asmus
Um,
should be used as a shooting guard where he can come off screens, where he's
yeah.
tough to keep up with. Like
I mean, A. Smith is a point guard, but like I think Hunter can get him
in
some
the Big
looks.
12, he might have some
Um,
turnover problems with the defense and how they'll be able to pick up full
maybe.
court. Like I think as a shooting guard, Asmus's biggest strength is coming off screens and being able to just run circles around people and moving without the basketball. Like to have defenders to try and have to guard that for 40 minutes for him just running around screens all game, like they're not going to like that. That's how you have, that's how I would use him. But it seems like they're going to be using him as point guard and they're going to try and play Tyrese Hunter off of him, which I don't like. Um, so there's that.
yeah.
And I just think Caden Shedrick is kind of a bit soft.
Like he got ran out of the rotation at Virginia. Like, are
That's
we just forgetting that he just like completely like went from starting to not even playing?
it's true. Like he really fell out of the rotation, and that's kind of why Ryan Dunn broke out. That's kind
I
of
mean,
why
his like stats are like his like efficiency numbers are
they're
good, but like,
inflated because of his first half
yeah,
play, right? Like he
like
didn't play in the second
he
half.
didn't just like got moved out because of no reason.
He
I think
got
there might have been
outplayed.
some off the course stuff going on
Yeah,
there
I heard he got
too.
outplayed in practice. That's what I've been
I
hearing,
mean,
and that's what
yeah,
happened. He lost his rotation spot. He wasn't very physical on the glass. And that's something that is going to be a problem in Big 12 play. And here's the thing, right? Like Texas needs Dylan Mitchell to break out. If Dylan Mitchell
they
doesn't
do.
break out, they're in real trouble. Like they
Yes.
could be even lower than we have them right now, right?
Yeah.
Like if Dylan Mitchell doesn't break out, you could have them 9 or 10th.
I think there's a clear top like a
Yeah, I mean they could be behind. Who do I have behind? Shoot. They could be right. Okay, yeah, BYU. Okay, yeah, no,
I have a pretty clear gap between 8 TCU and 9 Cincinnati.
yeah, that too. Yeah,
Um,
BYU, Cincy, and all of them are definitely a bit behind. But
yeah, but like
well,
even their bench,
no,
like I don't
if
like
Dylan Mitchell
Ethan
doesn't break
Horns.
out, like they're gonna be in
Ethan
the
Horns
bubble.
okay, for a bench player, but like
Little iffy. Oh man,
yeah, Shandal Weaver was really good at UT Arlington. Is he like a Big 12 player? Probably
we
not
shall
yet.
see. Like I think he's a look. He's better than our other pickups. That one dude from UTEP.
Yeah, Zurik Onyema. I mean, he's not a bad pickup because he's like a backup big, which I don't really have any backup big men.
Sure, I
And he can
guess
like rebound, rim protect, like he can do all that fun stuff, but like
for sure.
he's not really a Big 12 caliber player.
Yeah,
Like it's just like kind of the big transfer market.
yeah. I just
Brock
don't know.
Cunningham is back.
Oh, go.
He's a good player when you have
I
players
think he's
around him.
good. No,
Like
I
he's
agree.
really like a really efficient offensive player. You just need guys around him because he can't do that stuff himself.
I will say that missed slap last year. Oh
Yeah.
man, he had
I
some missed
remember I
slap.
remember he was
Oh.
getting the shots like I remember in like the last like few seconds of the like last minute of the Miami game, he took a few shots like
He
and
smoked the wide open. Oh my.
I was saying like that's why Rodney Terry should not have been
Right.
hired. If
Yeah.
you're I don't care that you made it to the Elite Eight. If
You
you're
drew
in
up
an
a
Elite
play
Eight
for
game with a
you drew up
chance
a
to go to the Final Four and you're drawing up shots for Brock Cunningham, you do not deserve a job in college basketball.
and that's exactly what it was. It was literally a drawn out play for him. Like you could tell
Yeah,
from the set.
like pass it to Marcus Carr, pass it to Timmy Allen, pass it to Serge Barry Rice. You're not that guy, Brock Cunningham. Like Rodney Terry is not like
He
that's just
smokes and open.
like it was Chris Beard's team. Rodney Terry kept him afloat, I guess. It was just one of the oldest teams in college basketball, one of the best
Man,
teams when he took over. Like it's not like he like I'll give him credit for like not completely imploding, but
I'll
like
go back to your statement from earlier. It's just been a group think that they're top 15. Like,
yeah.
oh, they have them top 15. So I'll have them top 15.
Like when
And
you really
all
look at it, what about this team is top 15? Like I know a lot of people really love A. Smith, but like
Big 12.
outside of that, like or Roberts was not top 15 just because I had him. I mean, obviously the
Oh.
talent around him is better, but like he can only do so much by himself.
And he's
Like,
still jumping from the Summit League to the Big 12, no
yeah.
matter what. Like, he's
I'm a little worried
awesome.
about that, but I think he can score anywhere, but his defense will get exposed.
100%. That's where you got to really worry.
He's gonna put up
Yeah,
buckets, so like I
he will
think he
get
can
his
score
points
against anyone.
for sure.
He can get off his shots. I don't know. The freshmen they got aren't that good. Chris Johnson can be okay, I think.
Yeah, I was looking
Devon
at
Pryor's
Chris
a redshirt
Johnson.
or reclass, I mean. So Alex and a make way probably won't. I mean, you could choose him back up like 4 minutes because you don't really have any backup fours. Um, I don't know what they're this.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know.
The whole Rodney Terry Texas thing is like, pages should do their research, man. Like, like
They're gonna regret giving him the
just
job.
because you see a page that puts them top 15, or you see every page put them top 15, do your own research and look at their
Yeah,
roster yourself,
like
man. Like,
this is so much
are
worse
you
than last
really
year.
coming down to the conclusion that they're a top 15 team with this roster? Like, I'm sure
And their
not.
coach.
And their coach. Like, I just don't know where this is coming from, and it just perplexes me, man. I don't know. Both of us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
um,
Moving on to the
onto a
team
good team.
we both had number one in the conference. That is Kansas. Their starting five is amazing. Their bench is very questionable. I'm gonna delete Arturo Morris from my depth chart right here now. Hopefully he never plays a second of college basketball again.
Yeah, it's just there's no room
Hopefully,
for that,
yeah,
man.
it's pretty ridiculous that he was on his like third chance and still screwed up.
That's the thing. You
It's
give these guys chances and they
ridiculous.
keep fumbling them. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys
I
don't realize it's a luxury to get a chance,
I mean, a lot of people were like criticizing Bill Self for taking him after he already was like kind of
Right.
questionable. I don't
Of
know if
course.
I'm really opposed. Like, I mean, I don't think I don't
Look,
know
man. I
because
mean,
I
people,
would have taken him too.
I
That's the
agree.
thing. Like, you look back and say like, oh, they never should have taken him because he had past issues. But like,
There's a lot of people in
I
college
honestly probably would
basketball
have
who
taken
have
him
had
too
past issues.
because I was high on him as a player. Like, I
Oh, for
was
sure.
thinking he'd be really good,
He was
but.
good.
Now
I
I wish nothing but the worst for him in his future. Um, but yeah. What do you know anything about Johnny Furphy?
I heard things about him, and then didn't
He was in the top 10 of Andy
I know,
Katz's
I
small
just seen
forwards,
that,
which
man.
none of those players are going to be starting at small forward.
Andy Katz needs to
He
be
released a
fired for
power
that,
forward
man.
list today that was like mostly centers.
Well,
I'll read
that's
it
the
off.
thing. The small forward list was power forwards.
Yeah.
Tristan De Silva
If
is not a
anyone's
small
listening to
forward.
this from like have a higher position in college basketball, we can do we can do job better than Andy Katz.
No,
I will
it's
say that with 100% confidence.
I mean, he's just at all the Big Ten games and just writes in like half every list Big Ten players. That's
Okay,
what he does.
but let me read this list. Is top 10 power forwards. You got Kyle Filipowski, Probably going to play center this year, but kind of power forward.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Naturally.
okay.
So I'm not going to completely hate in this one.
Yeah, I
Janai
agree.
Broom is a center, 100%.
Center,
Duron Holmes is a center.
center.
Norchad Omir is a center. Adem Bona is a center, but he could be like a
With
4
the
in sense.
Daymar, yeah,
They will play him in a 4 at times. I think he'll start at 5.
right.
Fardaws obviously a center. Tolu Smith center. Bryce Hopkins is a 4.
Yeah,
Rashad Johnson's a 4. Jaden Ledee is kind of a 5 slash
he's a
4.
5. Yeah, he's a 5.
I would consider him more of 5. So
Yeah.
like, what are we doing, Andy
Is
Katz?
that the power forward list?
Yeah.
Oh my god. The small forward list is all power forwards.
Let's read it out. Let's read it out just to tell the fans how much we
Positional, like
hate this list. Okay, Tristan De Silva.
power forward.
He's like a 4 slash 5. He
Right,
he
he's not a
could play the
3.
3. Like
Right.
hypothetically, like if you put him at a 3, he could handle it, but he's not a
Right,
3. Like he
right,
doesn't play the
exactly.
3. Janelle Davis is like
Look,
a 4
I
sort of,
get
but
this
like
because
okay,
of
like
FAU's roster construction,
if
right?
you put him at a 3, whatever. Like I'm not super. That's the one like I'm not mad about. Grant Nelson is a 4 slash 5. He's played a 5 in the past. Like what are we
Right.
doing? He is not a 3 at all.
No.
Jamison Battle. First of all, Jamison Battle should be nowhere near this list based on last season.
He's not even top 25, dude.
No,
I'm sorry.
he was
He's not a top
bad last
25
year.
small forward.
But I think he's a 4. Like
Right.
you could make
On
use
Ohio
a 3.
State this year, he might be a 3.
I think he's
I
going to
gotta
start
think
at
about
4, and then
Okay.
Scotty Middleton will start at 3. Is what I
Okay.
have. I mean,
And they put
he
Gale
could be the
2.
3. I'm not super mad. I'm just confused
Okay.
why he's on the ranking. Tyler Wall is a 4.
I don't think Tyler Wall is personally top 10, but that's just me. Like
Yeah,
Tyler Wall
that's a
can't
whole.
shoot the
These
ball.
lists the rankings are terrible to begin with. But I'm just talking how bad you try
Exact
to position.
positional.
Harrison Ingram, I think, is more of a 4.
Right.
Maybe he can play the 3, but he's a 4.
And
Tucker
he's
DeVries
certainly
is a
not
4.
top 10.
Tucker DeVries is a 4. Trey Mitchell is a 4 slash 5. Cohen Carr is not going to start. Johnny Furphy is also not going to start. So yeah, that brings us back to Kansas on that Furphy note. Yeah, really good starting lineup. You got Harris, Timberlake, McCullough, Adams, Dickinson. That's a outstanding starting
It
lineup.
really
All
is.
5 players can really play basketball.
Mhm.
Got
And he got
Marco
shooting
Jackson,
there as well.
but
Like,
there's no bench.
yeah,
That's
the
the issue.
thing.
Like
You just gotta hope no one gets hurt, or you
yeah,
really
because those guys can all play a lot of minutes.
And that's
Like
the
you
thing.
don't need a ton of bench guys, but you need like, and like one of them, Zach Clements, is supposed to redshirt this year.
It's just in the Big 12, like, it's a wear and tear league. It's physical. Like, I just feel like someone's gonna get hurt. Like, I hope. Well, I hope they don't. But even though I hate Kansas, but no, I feel like in the Big 12 you got to have more than 6 or 7 playable guys. Like, at least playable. Like, not obviously good 8 to 10 guys, but like 8 to 10 playable guys. And honestly, like,
I mean, you have like Marco Jackson, Parker
he's
Brown,
playable.
Johnny
Parker is
Furphy.
playable.
Yeah, it's like
Furphy, I don't know. Like,
I think Furphy's gonna be good. Maybe not
Alright,
like super good right away, but he will be very
Alright.
good. I'm kind of in on Furphy, but
Alright.
like I don't know what we're doing.
That's really it. It's
With the
8 playable
bench.
guys. Like, and it's man, that's gonna be rough. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish they would have kept some guys around from. I wish like they would have kept Zuby Geofor. I liked him.
Yusufu. Yeah.
He's once
2 years
I
ago
think he
now.
left it somewhere where he can actually like play.
Right.
Bobby Pettiford was a guy I did like.
Yeah, Pettiford was solid. I didn't hate him.
Off to East Carolina, but yeah. I don't ever see number 1 nationally. I do have number 1 in the conference. Pretty safely
same.
number 1.
When they lost Arterios, when I put Duke, unfortunately, number 1. The Almanac did too. A lot of people followed suit for good reason, I feel like.
I have Purdue number 1.
Oh,
that's a topic for the Big Ten podcast.
I like it though. It's going to get a lot of flack from people, but I won't hate on you for that. Purdue's roster is very underrated, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we will get into that shortly because not in the next podcast. I think our next one is And wait, any more notes on Kansas before I wrap it up?
I mean, yeah, they're elite. They
Yeah.
won the transfer portal, no question. Yeah, preying on their downfall, but yeah, they're elite.
Yeah, but yeah. So I think we should do Missouri Valley next.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at the Missouri Valley a little bit today, with Drake and Indiana State, so we can get right into that.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but Kyle had some takes I do not agree with, so we will have a fun episode
We always,
then.
I don't like Drake. I'm the only Drake hater in the world,
That's
I'm sorry,
I don't agree with that. But
I need a different team to make it from the Missouri Valley, man. I'm sick and tired of seeing Drake every
it
year.
was disappointing how they finished last year, though. Like they had that game versus
Like,
Miami. They had the
everyone,
game.
it's true.
Oh,
My
well.
Canes, my Canes.
But yeah, we will be back shortly. But follow all of our social media accounts at Hoopscoop Media, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube, feel free to slide over and see our faces, see all of the daily top 100 countdown videos that we're putting out. And yeah, any more notes before we hop off the Zoom call?
Where are you at in your top 100?
31 will be tomorrow. I don't know what day this podcast is gonna go out, but
What was 32? I think
Iowa State.
Iowa State. Okay,
Yes.
that's valid.
31 is Texas Tech. I'm okay with spoiling that because I know that this podcast the video will be out before this
Yeah,
video this is
you got
released.
the full house on Grant McCaslin, but I like it. The roster is better
Yeah,
than I thought it was. I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie. No,
So 31 that means we have a month till college basketball.
Um,
31 days. October
um,
6th is tomorrow. The season starts November 6th. We're getting so close.
oh. It's getting exciting, man.
We're
I'm
getting
already
close.
getting
We're past it.
stale
We're past
college
the dead
football,
point.
man.
We're past the dead point off season. We're like we're ready. We're
We're getting
ready.
ready. No, we're
Yeah,
getting ready for sure.
it's like secret scrimmage season now, all
Of
that fun
course.
stuff.
Where we get to predict our All-American teams based on secret scrimmages, like Brandon Miller last year in the TCU secret scrimmage when he dropped like 40, and it was like,
Yeah,
oh man,
I mean that
that
worked
worked.
out,
It worked, right?
but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, of course, of
Um,
course.
do you remember that secret scrimmage from a few years ago where Providence played Purdue and Nate Watson had like 9 fouls or something? And like, yeah, like obviously, like it's just a secret scrimmage. Like,
They're gonna
it
have
doesn't
unlimited
matter.
fouls.
Yeah, this isn't an actual game.
It's like street
Um,
ball. You're gonna have unlimited fouls in a secret
yeah,
scrimmage.
yeah. Don't react over secret
Yeah, no.
scrimmage results, but
They're like
I
spring
mean,
training, man. It's the same thing. But there's
yeah,
certain
I'm
things you
trying to think
can
of
see.
other like Tennessee looked like the best offensive team in the country when they played like they
Tyreek
killed
Key.
Gonzaga last year. But there's some fun like charity exhibitions this year. Um, I don't know why they just don't actually play like them regular game. Like and there's nothing fun the first week of the season. Just put
And they
them
should
there.
televise them,
Just play an
man.
actual game.
Wow,
Some of them are, I think.
that's good.
A lot of them are like pay-per-view stuff though, which
I know.
I
The
mean
Rock
it is
Stadium
a
stuff.
charity exhibition, so a lot of them are like raising money for like those are fear they're raising money for the situation in Maui.
That's good.
Because obviously, yeah, the Maui Invitational is going to be in Honolulu this season.
They're gonna be making bank this year. Holy, that field. Holy.
Yeah, and they're going to sell more tickets too
Right, I know,
because
man.
it's going to be at the Stan Sheriff Center
Is that
because
a
it's
what?
the Hawaii because they had to
Okay,
move it
yeah,
from
there we
Maui
go.
because of the fires and stuff.
Oh yeah. No, the
Um,
Hawaii Arena full is gonna be cool. Oh,
it's not the same though.
that's true. I need it to be all Hawaii fans. No,
But like it's not the same as Maui. Like that gym is just iconic, but it did not get burned down, so we will
that's
probably be
good.
back there next year.
That's good.
That is good. About everything else that got burned down, so that is not good. Yeah, but we will be back in a few days whenever we need to start cranking these out at a faster rate because we don't have as many days as we have. I mean, we have more days than previous, but it's not a ton more. So yeah, we will be back with the Missouri Valley preview next.